go-to for all the latest news when it comes to Arizona men's basketball, along with all the play-by-play action. We are Wildcats Radio 1290. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tipoff Show on the home of Arizona men's basketball. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Iwucheku, top of the key. Looking for the backdoor cut. Knocked away by Ballo and a steal. Ballo inbounds it to Love. Cats on the run the other way. Love. Down. Stop. Pop it. Three. Too hard. No good. Lewis the rebound for the Wildcats. Lay it up. Good. And he's fouled. Oh my goodness. KJ Lewis has taken over Las Vegas.
Yes, indeed. That was the play by none other than KJ Lewis that got Tommy Lloyd about as excited as I think I've ever seen Tommy Lloyd for a single play on the sideline. I mean, he was fist pumping, doing a lot of gyrations for his young freshman guard when he got that and one opportunity right there in a 70-49 win for the Arizona Wildcats over the USC Trojans. All right, it's day 2 here in Las Vegas. Well, day 2 of basketball anyway, considering we've been here for well over a week for both the men's and the women's basketball tournaments. But day 2 for the Arizona Wildcats as they go on this trek to try to win a third consecutive Pac-12 tournament championship under the Tommy Lloyd regime. They'll take on the Oregon Ducks today. The Oregon Ducks knocking out the UCLA Bruins on Thursday night here to advance into the semifinals. So I think there's probably a little bit of disappointment that this is not Arizona and UCLA for one final time in the Pac-12 conference. I know I'm a little bit disappointed by that, but regardless, it's the Oregon Ducks. That's the opponent today, and the Wildcats will need to win to punch their ticket to the Pac-12 Conference Tournament Finals here on Friday. A lot to get to with you today, so let's run down what we've got for you.
Let's take a look at the Right Way Rundown and see what's coming up on our pregame show. Brought to you by Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Do things the right way.
All right, we'll take a look back at the USC win by 21 points. We'll preview Oregon and hear from them after their victory yesterday over the Bruins. Our spotlight on a cat, KJ Lewis, who you heard there in the top with the highlight. We'll get his thoughts on. He didn't see Tommy Lloyd going crazy, but I told him about it, and we'll get his thoughts on what it means to him to know that his coach is getting that excited and showing enthusiasm for a play that he's made in the game. Who's going to be that duck that gets underneath the Wildcat skin today? It's your Pest of the Game, brought to you by University Termite and Pest Control. Best bets on the Desert Diamond Sportsbook board. Arizona an 11.5-point favorite in this ball game today. And we are also on the Pac-12 road trip, tournament road trip here. That is brought to you by Picture Rocks Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Your family deserves to breathe clean and healthy air. Be sure to call Picture Rocks Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing at 520-440-4069. Ron Arenas will join us, and we'll get his thoughts on the win over the USC Trojans for Arizona and today's contest coming up against the Oregon Ducks. Also, our view from courtside, Bruce Pascoe from the Arizona Daily Star will join us here in Las Vegas. We're coming to you from the bowels of the T-Mobile Arena. It is quite quiet here at the moment, but again, in about 3 hours, it'll begin to swell as into being the facility that we lovingly know as McHale North. I mean, this fan base absolutely took over things yesterday. I was talking to a member of the Stanford contingent who had never been to a Pac-12 tournament game prior to this year, and that person was simply amazed, absolutely amazed by what they saw in terms of the turnout of Arizona Wildcats fans here in this building yesterday, and that was for a noon start. We got night basketball the next 2 nights, or at least late afternoon basketball. So it's gonna get even more fun as we hit Friday and Saturday here in Las Vegas. If you're a fan of the Arizona Wildcats, we want to hear from you today. 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. I'm David Kelly in Las Vegas. I've got Kelvin Ifan and JW Madden back in Tucson. Fellas, I'm disappointed it's not UCLA. Are you?
Name-wise, yes. Because of the name across the chest, you love getting up for those names. But Oregon is probably our biggest rival game, besides UCLA, right? So I just think that the Oregon game presents better talent, a better obstacle as far as just size and athleticism and Cousinard. So I'd rather go against Oregon, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I think 100% name recognition. It's got to be 3 games against UCLA. You'd love to see that in the last season of the Pac-12. And, Dana Altman has been the de facto best coach in the league. We talked about that forever, Kelvin. 3-time Coach of the Year winner, Dana Altman. Also, Mick Cronin won it a couple of times, too. So either way you go. But I'm glad for this simply because of the big man matchup, right? And N'Faly Dante, Umar Ballo, both from the same country, home country, both experienced veterans. So I think as far as DK getting ready for March, getting ready for the NCAA tournament, should I say, I like the matchup with Oregon simply because that style, and the way that they play, especially the aggressive defense from the bigs. I like Arizona being challenged by that today. UCLA, a quality team next year and the year after that, but a lot of freshmen on that roster. So I think Arizona will see a better challenge today. Historically, it's UCLA, but this year I think probably better they see Oregon.
All right, and the win yesterday over USC, 70-49. Tommy Lloyd, the way that game played out was kind of how we thought it would play out.
Good win, just how we liked it. Drew it up perfect. So, we obviously wanted to establish ourselves defensively, and not just because it was SC and how we played last time, but just because that's what you got to do this time of year. So our guys came out and with a defensive mindset, and offensively, we were able to settle into the game when maybe things weren't coming easy. We hung with it. So really proud of them.
Tommy, in the first half, they kind of made you play their style, but you were able to survive it and, in fact, had a 12-point lead. Can you talk about how much you are probably impressed with that?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a game, and these games play out different. You can't I'm joking when I say it's just how we drew it up. I mean, you can't script it. And so, we knew that they may not want to get up and down with us, but you always want to test that, a coach can have a game plan and the players maybe don't execute it defensively on their end, and we get up and down in transition, and they did a good job keeping the game slower, but it came down to defense. I mean, we were able to get stops, and then kind of made a little run at the end of the first half to get a little separation, and then these guys did a great job at the start of the second half to extend that.
It was. I mean, it was, again, I go back to if you joined us on the post-game show yesterday, it was just kind of a very weird beginning to that game. Neither team could get going offensively because of the way that the defenses were playing on both sides, both the USC Trojans as well as the Arizona Wildcats. Caleb Love caught up with him afterward. He admitted it was a little bit strange early on.
I think, the zone, obviously, it's always tough to get, shots in the zone, easy ones. And, we was missing a lot of, threes and easy bunnies. It was a physical game. So, we just tried to fight through it, and, we took pride on that defensive end. I think that's what pushed us over the top in the first half.
What did you learn from the physical play they gave you last Saturday that helped you guys in this ballgame?
Just trying to get our shots, just trying to get, the best shot that we can, move the ball, move the defense, so, and then get out in transition. I think we got a lot of transition points today, and we converted. So I think we just had to, fight through it and not complain about, bad calls or no calls, and, we just fought through it.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's interesting because that was one of the things, guys, that Tommy talked about, I think, in relationship to the game last Saturday at USC, was that he didn't really feel like his team reacted well to the way that the game was being officiated. And they kind of were letting them play again yesterday. How hard is that, Kelvin, to make that adjustment when maybe you're used to certain calls happening, but now you're getting down into a time of the year where maybe those calls are not going to be whistled the way you thought they'd be.
Well, that's why it's so important to have guys like Keyshawn Johnson and Caleb Love, guys that have been to the championship game, because they can explain to guys, and I'm sure the guys' ears are going to be wide open, because you hear guys like Caleb Boswell, say it, and then you have Ballo and Larson, the experience of those guys. If you're going to win a championship, you have to expect to never get a call. You can't think this is the Pac-12 conference play. I'm sure all the guys have heard that the West Coast is soft anyway, so they have to expect that the other teams are going to be physical, and the refs are not going to necessarily swallow the whistle. They're going to make you earn the game. You got to earn the game. You got to play through fouls. You got to play through the touchy grabs and the handsy things. Like, that's why I was a little, when I heard that, I was like, don't even mention it. Like, just play through it. Don't let your guys even know that it's a thing about being handsy, because now they're going to think about, well, they're being handsy. Oh, is that a call? Oh, they touched me. Like, no, play through it. Fight through everything. So it's that time of the year. And I think having those veteran guys on the team is going to help them with that. I mean, if any of these guys won all these guys were state champions and, been to championships and AAU games, they totally understand to win those type of games, you have to fight through that.
Yeah, especially next week, right? I mean, you're going to see a lot of different ref crews from all over the country. And, not to say they were disappointing or quote-unquote failed seasons in the past when Arizona's lost earlier in the tournament, Kelvin and DK, but you could point to maybe a guy or two, Kelvin, getting a little frustrated by non-calls or overcalls or whatever the way. And as soon as you start assessing what the ref's doing in the game, as opposed to just adjusting to that and playing the way the game's being called, don't go into it with any preconceived notion. Game's going to be called tight or going to be called loose either way. Just play your game. Don't bother with what the refs are doing, and keep your head in that game. Don't get distracted by what the refs are doing, I guess is what I'm saying.
Indeed. And Kylan Boswell on how big a defensive battle it was early.
I think everybody was being aggressive on the defensive end. That was our biggest game plan, was making sure our defense was tighter, more gappy. And I know for sure them, very athletic guards on the wings and stuff. So, I mean, that's hard for us to kind of get through. But, Arizona basketball is big on transition, fast pace. We're in great shape and kind of wear teams down over time.
It was a big game off the bench for Jaden Bradley and KJ Lewis. Boy, did those two young men bring it in that game against USC. And afterward, we got to hear from the Wildcats about that and the play of those two young men off the bench.
Trusting the plan, props to KJ. He got to go on early, offensive rebounds, cutting, getting to the free throw line. That kind of sparked the energy for the whole team, and then we kind of just picked it up from there.
You guys had that 9-0 run at the end of the first half. Pella hit a big three, Caleb hit a big three, and then you guys opened it up. But what was key to opening it up there early in the second half?
Shot making, but I think the biggest thing was our defense. In practice we've been harping on that, getting stops. The ball might not fall all the time, so being able to get those stops and create an offense for us, and it worked.
For you, efficiency shooting the basketball today, I know you kind of hit that difficult turnaround jumper early in the ball game. Did you feel like that kind of got you into it?
Yeah, I kind of just saying, sticking to the plan and, just trying to get easy baskets at first, coming off the bench. You don't want a tough shot be a first one, so kind of get a backdoor layup or something like that and kind of get you going.
Jaden Bradley there, he had 12 points. He was 4 for 4 from the field. KJ Lewis, 15 points. He was 6 of 10. He had 4 rebounds. And I asked Jaden, guys, about that first basket he hit in the game. It was kind of a difficult turnaround in the lane. And that's kind of what I've been talking about in terms of him all year long. He seems to be that guy that can work his way into the paint, make difficult shots. It was very similar, although maybe a closer shot than the one he made late in the game against Michigan State. And that's one of the reasons I've been harping on. I'd love to see him maybe at the end of some of these end-of-game situations where the Wildcats have not been real successful, get the ball in his hands, because he seems like he's the type of guy who can make difficult shots for this basketball team.
Yeah, he can. He's a 6'4" guard. He's a big point guard. All his life, most of the guards he's been going against have been in between 5'10" and 6'2". So he used to getting into the lane, taking the contact and going over those guys and finish. And he does a great job even taking the contact to the chin of the big man, because once you take it to their chin, they can't block your shot. And then he extends and score. So he's really good at that. And I think as the season now is winding down, the coach knows what he has now. We didn't know that about him early in the season, DK. We didn't know that. Now we know that, and I'm sure the coach knows as well. And some of these games, I'm sure he'll be in there finishing, just like he came in and started the second half of some games. So I think it's going to be up to what different personnels that they have to play against.
Caleb Love loved what he saw from KJ and Jaden off the bench.
Yeah, they put so much work in, and they put their head down. They never complain about anything, and so it's good to see them succeed on the court, and it puts a joy in my heart that just seeing them out there having fun and playing basketball.
Caleb Love, or I should say Tommy Lloyd, I mentioned, was jumping up and down on KJ's big rebound. Was jumping up and down about the performance of his bench spot.
It's awesome, and they both responded because they didn't play good at SC. And I'm really proud of how they responded, especially when a game like that where a team's switching defenses, playing a lot of zone. Maybe they're not players you think traditionally would play good against the zone, but they were opportunistic. You find some in transition, you find some late in the possession, you find some on the offensive glass. I thought KJ in that second half really made a statement. Pella unfortunately picked up his third foul, and KJ came in there and made like 3 or 4 plays right in a row to basically help us grow the lead, which was amazing.
Yeah, and don't tell Pella Larson and Tommy Lloyd that this team can't defend.
I think we just got a lot more stops. Like, we were way more hungry on defense this time around. And I mean, we're obviously a really good offensive team, but it's defense that we take pride in. So I think it was just that, and then the offense will come.
And when I'll interrupt, we always try to make an excuse for our defense because we're a good offensive team. Guys, 2 out of the last 3 years we've been another one ranked defense in the Pac-12. So do a little research. We're a good defensive team. We're a great defensive team, and we're going to get better.
And that's not the first time he said that this season. He has said it a number of times that when he has harped on how good that this Arizona Wildcats defense really is.
It's all narrative, right? And so, the narrative is, hey, number 2 scoring team in the country. Look at him get up and down. It's back to the Loot days, full court alley-oops, Kelvin. But come on. I mean, KJ came on campus to lock guys down, right? I mean, Jaden Bradley, those 2 guys we're talking about right now. Caleb Love, I didn't get a chance to see every game at North Carolina, but damn, that dude's a plus defender by far. And we know what, Keyshawn Johnson brings to the mix. That's his reputation coming in. Right. So as far as individual defenders, there's 6 plus defenders on this team. And when they put it all together, I mean, Arizona scored pretty much the same amount of points, 70 points last night. They scored 65 in Los Angeles. The difference is the first time around the Trojans had 78, and last night they had 49. So that's what this team is capable of when they're all on the same page, Kelvin, and talking.
And I agree. I think this team is built on defense. I think the offense just comes from the sharing of the ball and all the guys having a green light. So that makes every guy a little bit more open, and so they get a little bit easier offense, especially when they're in the transition game. But when you really think about it, you look at this team, the only guy that's really that serious offensively inclined is Caleb Love. The rest of the guys are really just hard workers that have some offensive skill. Colin Boswell probably is the next guy, but to me, he was even more so a defender that's trying to become a scorer, if you ask me. So I think the narrative is just because of how many points that they actually score and those few games that the guys hit the threes. They're still going to have to prove as this tournament goes on. That's what we're all leery about. Is a team going to go off from 3 on us like they did early in the year? I said that it was because of the defense, and they were still trying to figure out how close to play, how much help, how gappy to be, right? Because early in the year they was really gappy, and then they started getting shots knocked down on them, and then they started playing off and being a little smarter on who they helped on. But now they can go to either.
Yeah, you figure out how fast your teammates can recover, right? And then you stop helping so much. Real quick, DK, Kelvin, history repeats itself. How many times do people talk about Lute's teams being great defensively? Never. They always talk about how great they were up and the guards got a lot of freedom. Bro, I mean, tell the people out there how dedicated those teams were always to the defensive side of the ball. That started all of it.
Well, I'll just say this: most of the guys that he recruited wasn't these top round picks that they ended up being. He got them from where he saw them somewhere playing against somebody, great defense, locking them up, and figured that he can twerk a few things offensively, and these guys, end up being NBA players. So if you look at the whole list of those guys, a lot of them wasn't 5-star McDonald's All-Americans.
All right, let's get our first break in here. We'll have much more coming up for you. We'll preview the Oregon Ducks. Dana Altman, what he had to say that was key to their win in the quarterfinals over UCLA. It's the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off Show, coming to you live from T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, along with Kelvin Ifan and J.W. Madden. I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
This hour of the Meridian Wealth Management pregame show is brought to you by Advanced Auto Care, Crest Insurance Group, Desert Diamond Casinos, First Chiropractic, Frog in Firkin, Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates, Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating and Plumbing, the Polston Results Team with Keller Williams, Southern Arizona, Royal GMC Buick and Cadillac, Royal Kia, Royal Jaguar Land Rover, the Window Depot.
This just in, Goodfellas AC is matching up to $2,000 on federal tax credit.
Whoa, seriously? This is unbelievable. I gotta call Floyd at Goodfellas.
Hello, Goodfellas. Floyd speaking.
Is it true about the $2,000?
It sure is. Homeowners like you may qualify for a 30% federal tax credit up to $2,000 on qualifying heat pumps. And Goodfellas will match the tax credit dollar for dollar up to $2,000. Good service, good prices, Goodfellas.
Here's an important message from University Termite and Pest Control. The weather is cooler here, and so pests are seeking alternative housing. Do you need a professional? University Termite and Pest Control has been serving Tucson since 1974. You can be assured University Termite and Pest Control will keep you pest-free using the most responsible products and application methods. 28 school districts, 3 hospitals, 2 colleges, 1 university, and thousands of homeowners trust University Termite and Pest Control for the past 50 years. You can too. University Termite and Pest Control. Find us online at bepestfree.com.
Most financial advisors I know have had a moment in their career where they thought, with more control, I would do things differently for my client's sake. This is Natalie Fernandez with Meridian Wealth Management, and our firm was created by advisors with the understanding that we need flexibility, control, and decision-making power to create the best experience for our clients. If you're an advisor interested in learning more about our growing firm, call me at 719-1433 to talk more today.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
Experiencing the Sonoran Desert's natural wonders comes easy at Rockin' Cay, nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills. Enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. 6 model homes are now open to tour at Del Webb at Rockin' Cay. Here, life is about more than just beautiful homes. It's about the experiences waiting outside your front door at this new 55-plus active adult neighborhood. LiveRockinCay.com. Designed by nature, built for you. Proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
Don't hold back. Just dive right in. This is Desert Diamond. The round-the-clock, off-the-charts, over-the-top spectacle that puts a shine on any day, anytime. The tables are hot to the touch. The slots are spinning winners every day. And the point spreads are yours for the taking. So go ahead. Live the diamond life. Desert Diamond Casino. Visit ddcaz.com.
An enterprise of the Thana Ogden Nation.
As Arizona's leading personal injury law firm for more than 30 years, Goldberg & Osborne agrees. They're down Arizona with offices statewide, including 5 in Tucson and Southern Arizona. The Eagle gives you home court advantage. More than 1,800 5-star Google reviews prove Goldberg & Osborne makes the right play in any situation. So, after any accident, let the attorneys voted best personal injury law firm get you the settlement you deserve. It's a slam dunk. Goldberg & Osborne, 1-800-THE EAGLE.
Coach Tommy Lloyd here. When I need a winning strategy for my team, nothing beats knowledge and skill. That's why I recommend Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing for all your home service needs. Having personally witnessed the impact of hard work and dedication, Right Way brings the same commitment to your home's comfort. Whether it's HVAC, plumbing, or electrical, their team always delivers excellence. With a legacy of quality service since 1959, you know you're in good hands. So give your home the best. Choose Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
Call or text 520-640-CATS or visit rightwayac.com.
Does it feel like the price of everything is going up, up, up?
We can't control the price of gas or groceries, but at Royal Buick GMC, we never add market adjustments, even while other dealers add fees because inventory is limited. At Royal Buick GMC, you can rest assured you won't pay market adjustments, and we stand by our transparent online pricing. Royal Buick GMC, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $529 doc fee. Royal Buick GMC, in the Auto Mall and at RoyalTucson.com.
The Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off Show continues on the home of Arizona men's basketball, Wildcats Radio 1290.
There's love for the Wildcats. Inside, Ballo, open, lay it up and good. Umar gets to the double-double, his 17th of the season, and the Wildcats lead 58-35.
Our first look at today's Arizona men's basketball game is brought to you by The Window Depot. Lowest prices and biggest inventory. Shop thewindowdepot.com.
It is Arizona and Oregon today here in Las Vegas at the Pac-12 Conference semifinals. Wildcats advancing on Thursday with a win over Southern California. Oregon getting to this game by beating UCLA. And that was a game that was relatively tight for the most part at the end. And the Ducks getting the 68-66 win over Dylan Andrews and company. 21-11 are the Ducks on this year. Dana Altman talks about that win over the Bruins.
Well, it was a good game. We were really fortunate. Mick does such a good job and messing things up, really getting after you. We were really tight the first half. Guys, want to win and they're a little nervous, and we just didn't execute anything, kind of got sped up that first half. I thought the second half we regained our composure, played a lot better until the last 4 minutes. We, just had a decent look at a couple shots, but then the turnover right there, and Dante's turnover where everybody just collapsed on him so hard. We got to get the ball moving there. So we had a couple bad turnovers there that allowed them to get back in the game. But it's tournament time. We did things that you have to do. We were down 5 at half on the boards, and we ended up winning by 1. So we out-rebounded them 6 in the second half. We went 10 for 12 from the free throw line. And those are things you have to do in tournament situations. So, again, it's not as smooth as what we wanted. We'd like to play a little better the first half and definitely a little better the last 4 minutes. But, again, we had 2 freshmen out there at times, and, our defense has been a problem a lot of the year. Just talking, we made some defensive mistakes the first half, which I thought allowed them to get some really good looks. And then I thought the second half we did a much better job with our switches on the perimeter and getting over some flare picks they were trying to get for Andrews. But he's a really good player. And, we didn't know if he could score enough to beat us. We wanted to try to take Bona out. We wanted to try to take their bigs, no lobs, no lift threes, and just see if he could hit enough twos. And he dang near did. But that was our plan, and to not give up the lobs, to not give up the lift threes, and make them take twos with hopefully a little contest. But Andrew's really a good player. I thought some of them were contested, and I thought he did a great job of hitting some tough shots.
And Fale Dante was the leader for the Ducks, 8 of 11 from the field. He scored 22 points. He was 6 of 8 from the line, had 6 rebounds to go along with 4 assists and 2 steals in that ball game. Again, I guess if you might be I might be disappointed that it's not Arizona and UCLA, but what I am excited about, guys, is another matchup between Fale Dante and Umar Ballo.
Did you just hear Coach Altman? He just said the game plan versus Arizona.
Yeah.
He just said the exact game plan. Don't let Ballo score easy in the post, so you expect some doubles on Ballo in the post and get up and take away Caleb Love. He just said he don't have that much time to adjust. Because the next day is the game, and so they didn't have 24 hours. They only had like 12. So to me, you're going to use that same strategy versus Arizona today. A sprinkle in with that zone.
Yeah, and DK, you've been talking a lot about how physical the USC-Arizona game was yesterday. What if I told you that the Bruins and Ducks shot twice as many free throws as the Trojans and Wildcats did? Twice as many, more than twice as many. There were 42 fouls called in that game. My biggest disappointment is that Adem Bona, Kelvin, only got 17 minutes in that game versus N'Faly Dante. Dante plays 33, Bona plays 17. There's your game. That's the defensive player of the year in the conference, right? So super physical. Obviously, I didn't watch that whole game, but clearly the refs were trying to keep things under control. Two very physical coaches, two physical styles, 42 fouls in that game. But, the Ducks, despite the fact, DK, they were down by 5 at halftime. UCLA had a chance to tie there at the end, pull it off 68-66. So, yeah, I think both those teams match up, fairly well. Oregon, Arizona got a couple of times pretty good. But as far as Dante versus Ballo, we've seen it many times over the years, and it's always a very, very tough matchup. Dante and Ballo match up really well.
And then Cousinard and Love.
There you go. Yeah. Cousinard's been playing really well lately, yeah, for sure.
Well, there are 4 teams left in this event here in Las Vegas, and the expectation is that 3 of those 4 teams are in the NCAA tournament regardless of what happens here this weekend. The team that is not is Oregon. Their job here in Las Vegas is clear.
These guys, these 2 guys, they're winners. They want to compete. They want to go to the tournament. And so, and we know what's in front of us. We know Arizona's a good basketball team. I can't sugarcoat that. They beat us twice. We're going to have to play our tails off. So, there's pressure on them, and they know it. But again, we know the position we're in. We know the position we put ourselves in. We got to swing away and try to make something happen tomorrow against a really good team, a team that might be a 1 seed, a 2 seed in the tournament, and I think they're ranked in the top 5, top 10, whatever they are. We know we're going to have to play. And so, but to answer your question, we were tight. You got to win, and you got to win 3 games. I kept telling them, don't worry about the second one. There's no second game if you don't get the first one, and we've had success in the tournament thinking that way at times, and so just really, really proud of the guys for finding a way the second half. I thought we really regained our composure, and even though the shots didn't fall in the second half, we had some really good looks at threes. We ran a 2 fade for him, and I thought that was going to go. And like I said, Cario had some really good looks. On a night you don't shoot it well again, 4 for 20. We hit our free throws. We out-rebounded them second half. You find a way. And just hope like hell tomorrow we shoot a lot better. We're going to have to hit some shots.
And going to have to prevent the Wildcats from hitting some shots. And I want you to hear from Tommy Lloyd, who, again, for the second time this season, talked about his team's struggles against zone defenses and put the blame for that yesterday on himself.
A lot of that falls on my shoulders. When I just, kind of took a step back, I realized that I haven't provided enough clarity, for how we want to attack and how we want to play. And I was relying on these guys a little bit too much to figure out. So, they're great players, and they have a great ability to figure it out. And when they're figuring things out, we're way better than when I'm overcoaching. I promise you that. But we just had to kind of put the pieces in the right place and kind of get a clearer understanding of how we wanted to play.
So, guys, did you notice anything different yesterday about how they were running zone offense in terms of did it look more structured, Kelvin, than it has in the past?
Yeah, it seemed like they really made an effort to get Keyshot in the middle at the free throw line. Like I said, I've seen them do a few backdoor plays right there. Also, just seen them just it just seemed like they also had Keyshot on the Obalo posting low deep, which really forces the big man down low where he can be taken away, not taken away, but blocking shots, getting in a situation where he can block shots. So I seen a few things, more so just Keyshot in the middle at the free throw line more than anything.
Yeah, to me, I think you might think 2-3, 1-3-1 are similar, but it really depends on your personnel. So if you think about like Matisse Thybulle, at Washington, Kelvin. I mean, if you got a guy like that on the wing, he could take 2 defenders by himself. So it depends personnel-wise. There's also slight little tweaks you can do to how you're playing that zone. The difference between the way they played at USC and the way they played yesterday was, number one, no dumb, soft, slow passes, which is a lot of those got picked off in L.A. And number two, they were very purposeful with everything that they were doing offensively. Now, a little slogfest, as DK said, there in the first 10 minutes of that game, but that wasn't because of lack of effort of attacking the zone. The biggest problem you can do against that is think we're going to just settle for 22-footers. They're going to have to get out of that zone because we got too many good shooters out here. That whole thing, Kelvin, where shooters take it disrespectfully, like, oh, okay, you're going to zone me, we'll watch this, and then Caleb goes 1 for 10, and you lose by 12 points. Right. So you just can't settle for those outside shots. You got to attack it, and I just think they were just much more energetic, DK, at going at the zone yesterday than they had previously last Saturday.
And Tommy admitted afterward that, hey, it was not necessarily all that pretty, but good teams can win games that are not pretty.
I mean, we got a real mature group. We got a group of winners. We got a group of dogs. But we haven't been perfect. But no one has. So, hey, it's about the next one for us. And these guys are mature and they're winners. And there's no guarantee to what's going to happen. But I would expect our guys to play with great effort and energy tomorrow.
And that next one is against the Oregon Ducks at 5 o'clock.
That's been our first look at today's Arizona men's basketball game. Brought to you by The Window Depot. Lowest prices and biggest inventory. Shop thewindowdepot.com.
And don't forget, Window Depot also sponsors Arizona's top rebounding performance every night. It's the Window Depot glass cleaner of the game. Might be the Wildcat with the most rebounds. Might be the U of A star with the most impactful boards. We'll tell you the Window Depot glass cleaner of the game coming up on the Meridian Wealth Management post-game show. It's the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off. Also brought to you by Dave & Buster's, the best place to eat, drink, and play while watching tonight's game between the Cats and the Ducks. More straight ahead. We'll shine a spotlight on one of the stars from yesterday's win over the USC Trojans. That is next. It's the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off show, along with Kelvin Efon and J.W. Madden. We want to hear from you. 520-848-1290. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. I'm David Kelly coming to you from the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
This is the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown and Tip-Off Show on the home of Arizona men's basketball. Wildcats Radio 1290.
You know it. Your neighbors know it. And let's face it, the mailman knows it too. Your yard just isn't what it used to be. But thankfully, Dorado Rock Materials can get you, well, your yard anyway, back to what it once was, and even better. Dorado Rock Materials has just what your yard needs, from decorative rock to boulders and everything in between, brought right to you. And if you need help spreading it, we can help with that too. Dorado Rock Materials. The right service, the right product, the right price.
Tired of dry, itchy skin? Have mineral buildup at every faucet. Ram Plumbing's affordable, green, eco-friendly water softener and alkalized purification systems are built right here in our great state of Arizona and use a fraction of the wastewater as their competitors. Want soft water, non-chlorinated, or the best alkalized drinking water? You can trust Ram Plumbing to be your one-stop shop. Ask about their Water Taste Challenge. 40th year anniversary savings, up to $500 off water systems and $40 off any service. If your plumbing's in trouble, call Ram on the double.
Come to the Humane Society of Southern Arizona. When you adopt from us, you will save more than one life. You'll also make room for the next pet in need. The Humane Society of Southern Arizona has been compassionately serving pets and the people who love them since 1944. Our knowledgeable adoption matchmakers will help you find the right pet for your home and support you after you adopt. We're open 7 days a week at our main campus at 635 West Roger Road. Learn more and see adoptable pets at hssaz.org.
Think of waking up with energy, standing tall and feeling free. Think First Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
First Chiropractic offers military discounts to retired and disabled veterans, and they now accept patients with access insurance. For more information and to find the location nearest you, visit firstchiro.com, the most trusted name in chiropractic care.
First Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
Cantina nachos, strawberry watermelon margaritas, a few zombie kills, and all your favorite sports teams live? When your day calls for some winning, it's time for Dave & Buster's, where you can eat, drink, play, and watch all the sports you want. They've got massive HD TVs, hundreds of the hottest new games, a chef-crafted menu, and an incredible list of beers, wines, and cocktails. So remember, if your day calls for a little victory, a little triumph, a little win, it's probably calling for Dave & Buster's.
It's a party 100 years in the making, and all of Tucson is invited. Saturday, March 23rd, starting at 11 a.m., we'll kick off our 100-year anniversary party at O'Reilly Chevrolet. Along with a Chevy Classic Car Show, there'll be food trucks, balloon twisters, a caricature artist, and much more. Our cake cutting ceremony will start at 5 p.m., and our prize cutting, well, that's been going on for more than a century. So put it in your cell phone for the 23rd and see us on Broadway next to Park Place Mall, or go to O'Reilly.com for more details. O'Reilly Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
As Arizona's leading personal injury law firm for more than 30 years, Goldberg & Osborne agrees. Bear down, Arizona, with offices statewide, including 5 in Tucson and Southern Arizona. The Eagle gives you home court advantage. More than 1,800 5-star Google reviews prove Goldberg & Osborne makes the right play in any situation. So, after any accident, let the attorneys voted best personal injury law firm get you the settlement you deserve. It's a slam dunk. Goldberg & Osborne, 1-800-THE Eagle.
Do you often worry you left the garage door open? With a LiftMaster garage door opener powered by MyQ, you'll never worry again. You can control, secure, and monitor your garage from your smartphone anytime from anywhere through the MyQ app. As an authorized LiftMaster dealer, we have smart openers designed for your needs, including belt drive motors for ultra-quiet operation, integrated camera for live video streaming, and battery backup that lets you in when the power is out.
Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates is your authorized local LiftMaster dealer. Visit KaiserDoor.com for more information.
This is the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown and Tipoff Show on the home of Arizona men's basketball. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Follow the rebound for the Wildcats. Outlet, it goes to KJ. Lewis quickly down forecourt right. Picked up by Kobe Johnson. Round a screen from Ballo. KJ hesitates, drives inside, put it off the glass, and score it.
Great finish with the left hand by KJ Lewis. He's an excellent slasher and finisher at the rim. Showed it there.
Went right at Joshua Morgan, the shot block.
6 of 10 from the floor in the game against USC for KJ Lewis. He scored 15 points to go along with 6 rebounds. He also had 2 assists and a steal as Arizona knocked off the Trojans on Thursday. The days are just all running together here. 70-49. It is now Friday, semifinal Friday. We've got the Arizona Wildcats against the Oregon Ducks, and then the nightcap will be the Colorado Buffaloes and the Washington State Cougars. So pretty much things have progressed as planned for the most part here at the Pac-12 tournament in Las Vegas. It is an absolutely ugly day here in Las Vegas. Not pretty. It's cold. It's raining. It's actually pretty dreary, but hopefully it'll start to brighten up once we get close to the tip-off here and get some basketball going at 5 o'clock. I don't know. What's it like back in Tucson today, fellas?
Same. Generally, Vegas and Tucson, outside of like the mountains here and the fact that we're a lot closer to the ocean south of us, if it's, 110 there, it's 102 here. If it's drizzling there, it's usually drizzling here. It's pretty similar.
Yeah, very much so. Very, very, very ugly day here to be in Vegas. The Wildcats will be looking to brighten that, and let's hear from one of the stars. Maybe he could possibly brighten it again today.
Our pregame show Spotlight on a Cat is brought to you by O'Reilly Chevrolet. Get more with O'Reilly Chevrolet.
And that spotlight shining on KJ Lewis, who scored those 15 points, had a plus 11 in the plus minus in that game yesterday. Had a chance to catch up with KJ after the game.
Reflect on the performance that you and Jaden had coming off the bench. We've seen you guys kind of do it separately this year. This was one of the first times we saw you guys have that kind of performance together.
That's my dog. That's my dog for sure. We work out together every day. We live with each other. So I see the work he puts in day and day out, and he sees the work that I put in day in and day out. And we trust each other. I think you can see that on the court. Our job is to bring energy and give it to the other three people on the court and bring defensive energy, and I think that's what we did.
I don't know if you saw Tommy Lloyd when you got that offensive rebound in the first half, but he was about as excited as I think I've ever seen him. So what does that mean to you to know that you're inspiring your coach when you go up and make a big play like that?
It means the world to me just to know that he has confidence in me to do to play my type of basketball. He believes in me, and I think I believe in him, and I listen to everything he tells me. He's a great coach, and I'm glad to be here.
What was the key to taking Boogie out of these two games? I mean, Saturday, obviously, you guys shut him down even though they won. Today, you guys got him again as well.
Preparation, mindset switch. He can explode for 20, 30 anytime. He's a big part of their offense, so just to lock in, take him out of the equation is going to help us.
What do you maybe want to see this team do better tomorrow?
I think, just stay with the same energy, take care of the ball a little bit more, just doing the same things we did, offensive rebound, defensive rebound. So I think we just got to come out with the same mindset.
And guys, I don't know if you saw, both KJ and Jaden were interviewed after the game on the Pac-12 network. They've got a stage here for their post game. But they showed a drawing that KJ had made. He grew up, spent some time growing up in Tucson, attended Lute Olson camps, and I believe also maybe went to one Sean Miller camp as well. But there was a drawing that he had made about where he wanted to be and obviously wanting to go to the University of Arizona. And it was really cool because not only had he put McDonald's All-American on there, he had kind of drawn the McDonald's All-American logo, had put on there, and then he had put on there commit to the University of Arizona, class of 2023. I mean, it was really cool just to kind of take that trek back to a young man, probably, who knows, maybe 10 years ago, as maybe a 7, 8, 9-year-old, and for him to have visualized what he wanted for himself and to have made that vision happen for himself.
Yeah, no, man, that's amazing, and shout out to mom and pops as well. I mean, because they helped him along the way, and I for sure I know his mom was his coach growing up, and she ran his AAU team, so I know she had a huge part in his success. But yeah, for him to be able to see that vision and to come to fruition, you have to be excited for him to be able to play for his Wildcats. I mean, it's amazing to have a guy of his athleticism here right now, because that's exactly what we needed. For years, I was saying, man, we need to get back to the dunks and the lobs and the fast breaking style, and that's exactly what they did, bringing in a guy like him.
Could you pick a better guy who has wanted to be a Wildcat his whole life?
Man, and and it's the style of play.
Right.
He grew up watching that style of play, the fast breaking, the Hassan Adams jumping in the passing lane. To me, he got a lot of that athleticism of Hassan Adams has. How Hassan played a little 3-4-ish. 3-4-ish. He kind of does the same thing.
And his top 2 scoring performances have come in the last 3 games. He had the 15 points here against USC, and you go back to the win at UCLA, which clinched the regular season championship for the Arizona Wildcats. KJ Lewis scored 18 in that game. So finding his scoring punch for sure is KJ Lewis. Always somebody you want to shine a spotlight on.
This today's Spotlight on a Cat has been brought to you by O'Reilly Chevrolet. Get more with O'Reilly Chevrolet.
It's the 4-seed Oregon Ducks at 21-11 against the top seed Arizona Wildcats at 25-7, with tip-off coming up a little bit after 5 o'clock. How about these numbers, guys, in terms of the Pac-12 tournament? Tommy Lloyd has never lost a game here. He is 7-0 at the Pac-12 tournament. The only coach in the history of the conference that has never lost a game at the Pac-12 tournament. 3-0 his first season they took the title. 3-0 last season they took the title. 1-0 to start this season, looking for another title. Pretty impressive. And once again, we failed to mention this last night. Once again, with the victory over USC, Arizona has never lost back-to-back games under Tommy Lloyd. That continues to really be an impressive feat. 18 losses, 18 wins after those 18 losses for this ball club.
Yeah, I mean, it'd have to be an Arizona coach because they got 9, and pretty much everybody else combined has like 13, 14, and Arizona's won most of these conference tournaments over the years. But yeah, I think it's a testament to, the will of the players, Kelvin. I mean, this time of year, you got maybe a little tired legs. Maybe, you're looking forward a little bit to the NCAA tournament. That's a big one. But coming in focused, and obviously they've had the benefit of having a higher seed and skipping that first day. But coming in, Kelvin, you could speak to this, but getting motivated as a 14-man roster and all those guys on the bench and everything else to come in and play 3 games in 3 days, cut those nets down, that takes internal fortitude. That takes you as a group wanting to get that job done.
Yeah, I mean, and you heard these guys saying it all year. We've talked about the Arizona across their chest. You've heard the guys talking about the mentors that they have and the names that they bring up of their mentors. Those guys are talking about championships and putting your banners up in the gym and putting your jersey up in the gym. That was one of the things that I love about Coach Olson when he was recruiting me. That's what he talked about, national championships. He talked about winning the Pac-12, and that's what you want to be around as a player. So these guys want their name up there. I mean, you think they don't know just as much as we know, as well as we know, that they've won the last 2? They don't want to break that streak.
All-time, DK, the U of A is a 74% winning percentage in the conference tournament.
Wow.
Second place is Oregon with 66, so that's 8 percentage points higher than second place. Arizona with the 9 titles. Oregon has 5, UCLA 4, Washington 3. Those are the only teams that have more than 1.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a pretty impressive dominance of this tournament by Arizona, and again, the fact that this fan base turns out here in Vegas the way that they have over the years. You understand when we did that poll the other day, the disappointment that this tournament is moving forward with the move to the Big 12, that the Wildcat fans are not going to be able to just trek here to Las Vegas with ease to see their team play in the conference tournament. It's been relatively, 6 to 8 hours, depending on whether it was in Los Angeles or Las Vegas over the course of the last, 15 to 20 years. But it's going to be a different vision as you head forward into the Big 12 and having to go to Kansas City. And I mentioned, you heard that interview with KJ Lewis, got a chance to catch up with him in the locker room. And I mentioned yesterday just the cool thing about the Pac-12 tournament, the NCAA tournament, is you get the open locker rooms and you get a chance to really go in there and kind of, talk to the guys in a little bit different setting than you do in the media rooms when it's everybody kind of, throwing questions at the guys. You can sometimes get them, and they're a little bit more personable in those instances. Kelvin, what do you remember of that? And I think back when you played, I imagine the locker room was open still. Guys could just kind of come in. But what do you remember those instances when you guys would, have the reporters in the locker rooms after the game, and what that was like to hear guys talk about themselves and talk about each other?
Well, in basketball, I didn't get a lot of reporters around me at that time. That was Damon Stoudemire and those guys for sure. But, no, they definitely came in there. And in football, I was right in the midst of it. They was, all around. And it was kind of cool, especially after a win. After a loss, not so much.
Right.
but after wins, it was, it was kind of cool because you get, you get a chance. You got all that energy, and you get a chance, to talk while you're feeling good about yourself.
Tommy Lloyd's undefeated in the conference tournament, but so is Kelvin Ifon.
Yeah, there you go.
That's because they didn't hold it.
Have one, right?
Yeah, from 1990 to 2002, there were none. There was none in the 90s.
Well, and that's interesting, Kelvin. Did you guys feel like you missed out on an opportunity with not having a conference tournament?
No, because we came here to go to the NCAA tournament.
Right.
We not necessarily at that time, I didn't even care about a conference tournament. And at that time, I don't know if it would have helped us as much as helping the other teams because we always were in. We knew we were going to be in. I think the conference tournament is to help teams get wins versus teams like Arizona and possibly upset a team win it so they can get into the tournament. Teams like Arizona, doing to me in these tournaments don't really get a lot out of it. Because even right now for Arizona, we win the championship, I mean, we may get a 1 seed, we may not get it.
Yeah.
I mean, we may still get a 2 seed. So there's not a lot for us to attain out of this except for, getting another trophy to put in the case.
I will say this, it depends if you got young guys and new guys you're working in that maybe still need a little bit of time to mesh together kind of thing.
But at this time of the year?
Yeah, no, at this time of year, you better know what your job is.
Right.
You better know what your role is, all that stuff. Back in those days, in the 90s, I mean, it was always the juniors and senior leaders on the team were the guys who had sat as freshmen and sophomores and watched the vets to see how they handled their business, and then they came in and then they taught the younger players. Right, it's a totally different era now. I think the Pac-12 tournament, as far as getting a taste for guys like KJ of what that one and done experience feels like, playing a couple of games in 3 days. AAU's like that, right? But with that intensity and think about the level of need that teams like Oregon have, because they don't have a tomorrow if they don't win this tournament type of thing. So
now I was going to say, J-Dub, now with that being said, I would have loved another opportunity to compete for another championship trophy to pack, because now that you do have it, okay, not only do I want to be regular season, I want to be I want to be the conference tournament championship too, to put the cherry on the ice cream right there.
Yeah, and I think, DK, the reason a lot of fans show up is because the success of the Arizona Wildcat team. So it's like, if you think about Vegas is a nice place to be, but let's say you save up money for your family vacation to go up there for this week, and Arizona doesn't win it, and then you go up again, they don't win it. You're like, maybe this third time we won't go back. But you have Kelvin's talking about getting interviewed in the locker room after a win. Same thing for those fans going up to Vegas. I'm sure the fan support up there now, going after their 10th title this year in the final year of the conference tournament, might not be as loud and obnoxious, and they wouldn't have as many bodies if they hadn't have been so successful over the years.
All right, it is the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off show. We are also brought to you by, on our Pac-12 road trip, by Picture Rock Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Your family deserves to breathe clean and healthy air. Call Picture Rock Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing at 520-440-4069. Our number is 520-848-1290. Call us, text us, interact with us on our app, download our app. In fact, text app to 520-848-1290. I'll send you a link. You can download our app. You can interact with everything we did. If you missed any of our coverage yesterday, you can go one-stop shop. Just click on our app. Click on the story that's at the top. Top-seeded Wildcats take down USC in the quarterfinals. You can hear from players we talked to after the game. You can see highlights from the game yesterday. And you can also hear the post-game show from yesterday in case you missed anything that Kelvin Ifan, J.W. Madden, or I had to say. 1 hour in the books. Hour number 2 of the program is straight ahead. There has been a firing here at the Pac-12 tournament for the second time in as many days. We will hear from the coach that will no longer be a part of his program when we come back. It's the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off show. I'm David Kelly with J.W. Madden and Kelvin Ifan. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
This hour of the Meridian Wealth Management pregame show is brought to you by Advanced Auto Care, Crest Insurance Group, Desert Diamond Casinos, First Chiropractic, Frog in Firkin, Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates, Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing, the Polston Results Team with Keller Williams, Southern Arizona, Royal GMC Buick and Cadillac, Royal Kia, Royal Jaguar Land Rover, the Window Depot.
Old Pueblo Harley-Davidson is the pre-owned inventory destination. With hundreds of pre-owned Harley-Davidson motorcycles to choose from, save $2,000 or even $6,000 at Old Pueblo Harley's pre-owned clearance sale. Now through the end of the month, Old Pueblo is accepting 100% of all credit applications with low financing options available. Take a test ride and receive a free dealer tee. Only at Old Pueblo Harley-Davidson or online at oldpuebloharley.com. Some restrictions may apply. See dealer for details.
Sean Furrier for Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Spring is on its way, and we all know that extreme heat comes next. Right now is the time to get your car or truck road trip ready. And with 14 convenient locations, 6 decades of service, and dozens of top shop awards, Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care is the place. This month, get back big rebates on all your favorite major brand tires. Save more on the most affordable, long-lasting tires. Check out jackfurriers.com for details and money-saving coupons. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Here to get you there.
Here's an important message from University Termite and Pest Control. The weather is cooler here, and so pests are seeking alternative housing. Do you need a professional? University Termite and Pest Control has been serving Tucson since 1974. You can be assured University Termite and Pest Control will keep you pest-free using the most responsible products and application methods. 28 school districts, 3 hospitals, 2 colleges, 1 university, and thousands of homeowners trust University Termite and Pest Control for the past 50 years. You can too. University Termite and Pest Control. Find us online at bepestfree.com.
Day in and day out, we're inundated with commercials asking to review your portfolio or telling you to get a second opinion. This is Natalie Fernandez with Meridian Wealth Management, and I want to share the advice I give people every day. Talk to 3 different advisors at 3 different firms. It's important to understand their differences and find someone you can trust. I want Meridian to be one of your 3, and then you will decide who is best for you. To learn more, call us at 719-1433 today.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
Southern Arizona Radiology Associates have been dedicated to providing superior images and quality care for the last 35 years. They're the one you trust when you need an X-ray, CT scan, ultrasound, mammogram, or MRI. They have locations in Tucson, Green Valley, and Sierra Vista. Ask your doctor to refer you to Southern Arizona Radiology Associates today. That's Southern Arizona Radiology Associates. Visit their website at sararadiology.com or call 520-335-6849 for more information.
Striving to be the best never grows old, and that's especially true right now during O'Reilly Chevrolet's 100th anniversary celebration. Great customer service is what we've hung our cowboy hat on for more than a century. Even today, we have a new inventory arriving with factory incentives available, and there are great deals to be had. Check them out at O'Reilly.com, call 747-8000, or come to our party on the 23rd to Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Southern Arizona and O'Reilly Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rock & Kay. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills. Enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. Hit the community trails, explore local parks like Saguaro National and Colossal Cave, and mingle at private Diamond Community Park events. In the top-rated Vail School District, Rock & Kay is close to work, shopping, and services. Tour 11 different model homes by top-tier builders, offering move-in ready homes and special incentives. Live RockandK.com. Designed by Nature, proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Always trust the big guy. Mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair at coolwillies.com. Cool Willie's is proud to be a partner of the University of Arizona Wildcats basketball radio broadcast. 2 powerful teams working hard for you to get the job done right every day. Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Big enough to help, small enough to care. Remember to mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair. coolwillies.com.
This is the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tipoff Show on the home of Arizona men's basketball. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Turns, shot is up, short, grabs his own rebound and puts it in. Pelle Larsson with his first basket of the day.
And that's what they need. They need Pelle Larsson to put his imprint on his game and be aggressive.
Let's take a look at the Right Way Rundown and see what's coming up on our pregame show. Brought to you by Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Do things the right way.
Hour number 2 here in Las Vegas at the T-Mobile Arena, where the semifinals of the Pac-12 will be played this evening. We'll give you your scoreboard here coming up after we tell you what's happening in this hour. We'll give you a scouting report coming up, and we'll hear from Dana Altman as well as finally Dante and their fine guard as well. Cousinard will join us. We'll hear from those 2 young men, as well as your pest of the game. Who will be that duck that will get underneath the skin of the Wildcats today? Ron Arenas will join us from Picture Rock's Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. He is our official road trip sponsor. We'll get his thoughts on tonight's game. Best bets brought to you by Desert Diamond Casino Sportsbook. The over-under today is 155. It was dramatically under in the game yesterday against USC. Bruce Pasco will join us on a view from courtside, as well as we'll have your keys to the game. All of that still straight ahead as we get you set for the Wildcats and the Oregon Ducks here tonight. Let's tell you what's happening around college basketball in the Pac-12.
The Pac-12 scoreboard is brought to you by Mesquite Valley Growers. Mesquite Valley Growers. Real growers, real experience, real nursery.
2 games in the Pac-12 as we come down to the end of this tournament. And it'll be the second game, Colorado State taking on Washington. I should say Colorado taking on Washington State, not Colorado State. That is because yesterday, after the Wildcats were able to beat USC, Stanford knocked off or fell to Washington State 79-62. We'll have more on that here in a moment. UCLA fell to Oregon 68-66, and it was Colorado winning over Utah 72-58. KJ Simpson, 18 points, 10 rebounds, and 6 assists in that ball game. So it is in the Final Four of this tournament, as we mentioned. Tonight's first game, Oregon against Arizona, and then Colorado against Washington State. So the top 4 seeds, the 4 teams that had the byes, are all playing basketball tonight here in Las Vegas. Last night, though, as we mentioned, the Stanford Cardinal lost their game to the Washington State Cougars. After that ball game, we found out that Jared Haas had been relieved of his duties as the head coach of the Stanford Cardinal. We had a chance to hear from Jared Haas. Here's what he had to say about his 8-year tenure in Palo Alto.
I believe the news is out there that there will be a change of leadership with the men's basketball program here. And it's been a heck of a run, honestly, 8 years. And I look at my job, I suppose, a little bit old school and multifaceted. One of the things is this is a place, and I believe dearly, about scholar athletes. And I've coached for 8 years, tremendous scholar athletes. 4 straight years of Scholar Athlete of the Year in the league. I won't get into specifics too much of team GPAs and the variety of majors and the hardest majors at the greatest university in the world. But I'll be leaving very proud of the team accomplishments. And the reality is I did nothing for that other than recruit highly exceptional kids, men. I also believe in development, and that's a part of my job. I'm leaving proud of what my staff and I have done on the court and off the court of developing our student athletes. I believe deeply in culture, our core values. It's been a challenge in 8 years, a lot of changes to the climate of college basketball, COVID. There's been a lot we've gone through. And during that time, my staff and team, players, administration, we've worked hard on culture and developing something that we're really proud of. And that's something I'm super excited about. And one of the things I just told the team, I said, my job as a coach is to hold them accountable, to do what they're asked to do, from boxing out to running the floor to remembering plays to executing the standards and expectations within the program. And when they don't do that, Spencer doesn't box out, it may pull them out. But the accountability piece is real. The other big part of my job is winning games. And this doesn't have anything to do with anybody else's standards, it's my own standards. I have not won here to the level that I expect. And just like I hold my team accountable, I'm being held accountable, and I have no issue with that. Looking back, the relationships with the players has been tremendous. I'm very confident as this sinks in and moves forward, I will look back at the last 8 years with great, great appreciation. Number one is to the players. 8 years of tremendous scholar athletes, talented basketball players, and I'm confident in saying that they're going to do some amazing things moving forward. The dream for me is that somehow that myself, my staff impacted them in a positive way. So when they do those great things, maybe we help just a touch. I mentioned the challenges over the last 8 years. I want to thank Bernard Muir, Carter Henderson. The leadership from the university has been tremendous in a really difficult time. And I know moving forward, it's going to shine. It's going to shine. My wife and kids, man, they sacrifice. My assistant coaches' wives and kids, they sacrifice. And so for Mindy and Gavin and Garrett and Gabby, man, unbelievable appreciation. This is, in so many ways, so many chapters are coming to an end. The Pac-12, college athletics continues to evolve. We talked about conference realignment. There's so many ends and so many new beginnings right now. I will look back at my 8 years, like I said, with great appreciation, very fondly. I'm going to lean on the memories and relationships. And I think I'm going to look back as a whole and be very proud of the things I've done. I also know I have a next chapter and hopefully many next chapters in my book. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do, but I'm going to chase awesome. And hopefully I can be around people like I've been around here for the last 8 years.
All right, that was Jared Haas, the now former head coach of the Stanford Cardinal, and like I mentioned, that's the second time this week we have had a coach who has been terminated at the end of a game in this tournament. It happened to Mike Hopkins although we already knew that going in, that Mike Hopkins was not going to be back as the head coach at the University of Washington, and Haas obviously now finding out as well that he will not be moving forward with Stanford as they jump to the ACC. Guys, it's never a fun time of the year. I mean, it's a fun time of the year because of the postseason, but it's also sometimes not a fun time of the year because it's at this time that we find out good men are no longer going to be leading programs that they so love to run, so love to be a part of, and hope that they could lead to great things, but unfortunately we're not able to.
Yeah, no, it's tough every time you see, coaches, get let go, man, because, you got guys that you recruited there and freshman and sophomore, and you want to see them develop and you want to help them, and you went in there into their parents' house and told them that you would be there for 4 years and you would coach their kid, and, now things are different. So, yeah, it's tough every time you see it, and the first thing I always think about is the players.
Yeah, business, obviously, I love to hear coaches talk about developing young boys into men. I mean, if that's where you're coming at it from, guys, I mean, you're coming from the right place. Stanford, has to be a really difficult place, an easy place and difficult place simultaneously, because you think about the level of intellect that you need to be able to get there, right? And how much time, guys, does that take away from your focus on athletics? So despite the fact that they're so great in so many Olympic sports, when it comes to football, basketball, it's here and there, right? It's not a consistent level of excellence. And, I don't know personally that Jared Haas is a great coach because of the time we've seen a lot of Stanford teams over the last 8 years. But clearly his players love him and the way he went about his business in that tough environment. And anybody who had to navigate COVID, DK. So obviously wish him nothing but the best. Interesting that Mark Madsen got an extension a couple days ago. So maybe they knew this was coming. They were trying to lock him up so he wouldn't go back to Stanford.
Yeah, interesting the timing of that. You talk about the players, Brandon Angel, on the influence Jared Haas had on him.
Playing for Coach Haas has been one of my fondest basketball memories, life memories I've had. These past 4 years are memories on the court, off the court, I'll never forget. Coach taught me so much more than basketball. What it means to truly lead by example, give your all to something each and every day. He's concerned about the team first, his players first, and I think you'd be hard-pressed to find a coach in the country that cares more about his players than this man on my left. Coach Haas is a one-of-a-kind coach, and a coach that one day, if you as a player, if you can grow up to lead, to be an example of the way Coach Hass has been for us, it means you're doing something good for those around you. He's been exemplary in so many ways, and I couldn't be prouder to play for him. I'd run through a brick wall for him, and whatever he has next, I mean, I'll support him and have a relationship with Coach probably the rest of my life.
That's Brandon Angel talking about Jared Haas, who, again, is out after Stanford's season ended last night. But a big win in the first round. Came back from 16 down to knock off rival California. I'm sure that'll be a sweet victory that they can hang their hat on this year. But losing to Washington State on Thursday night, 79-62 to finish the season at 14-18 and 8-12 in Pac-12 conference play. I want you to hear one more. This had obviously not a Pac-12 situation, but another coach was let go yesterday. Jerry Stackhouse was let go as the head coach at Vanderbilt. And had some interesting things just to kind of say about his 5 years at that university in Nashville.
I love my job. I love coaching. I love teaching kids. I enjoy the basketball part of it. I think, early on, we all have some mess ups. I probably messed up a little bit early on. I guess one of the things going back to the beginning, with the streak, which was a huge part of the fan lore here, and I guess maybe said something after that game that maybe rubbed some people the wrong way, but I just think it was and then people didn't get to know me. I mean, they just saw from a few clips and didn't get a chance to see who I am, see Jerry Stackhouse. They didn't get all they saw is the big black guy that came from the NBA. Right, and then I think that's that wears the suits, right, and they don't really know the context of why I wear these suits. Well, I wear these suits because when y'all going to church on Easter Sunday, what I'm saying. If you ever done that, any of y'all know that. My mama used to try to put suits on layaway, for us to go to church, and One time she didn't have the money to get that suit off of layaway, and I saw that disappointment in her. So that's why I wear these suits, because for my mama, for the time she couldn't see me in that suit that she had on layaway, she gonna see me in a suit every day. She turned 95 yesterday, and she can barely see, but when she look up at the TV, she gonna see me in this suit. So it's just like things like that that people. I think it was just some type of bias from guys that, come from the NBA. I mean, that's always been a little bit of noise there. But I just think when people if you really get to know me, you understand who I am, that I cut my own grass. I do. I'm probably a lot more like you than you would think. But I just from the stature of where I come from, because I had a career before I got to Vanderbilt, that's a lot of people, that's all that they saw, and they didn't really take a chance to get to know me. And, and maybe that's where the disconnect was with, some fans are different that. But for me, the basketball has always been the solace and what I love to do and I love to teach.
That's Jerry Stackhouse, who will not be returning to Vanderbilt. There's a number of things in what he said there. Guys, that I'd like to dive into maybe as we continue on this show. The fact that again, there's been a trend of NBA guys coming in to lead programs with not a whole lot of coaching experience. We've seen it with Jerry Stackhouse. We saw it with Danny Manning. Patrick Ewing comes to mind. Juwan Howard comes to mind, that have not necessarily worked out well. So that's a topic of discussion. Is that a sound hiring format for athletic directors on the college level to bring in these guys that, we know from the NBA, but maybe aren't set up to be good college coaches and have the success necessary? We'll get into that. We got to get to break, but we'll get into that as we go on. The other thing, and then we had Doug Gottlieb on last week, and he tweeted about the story that Jerry told there about his mom, and how it's such a great story. Why are we finding out about it now? And you talk about the disconnect that maybe a coach had with his community, and that I think what Doug was saying is that if Jerry had told stories like that early on, maybe it buys him some cachet in the community when your team is not winning. If you let those communities get to know you on the front side, maybe that buys you another year, another 2 years in situations where the program maybe takes a downturn. And maybe if that was a story he had told in year one and people maybe had a different feeling about him, it might be a different story today at Vanderbilt. It might be Jerry Stackhouse coming back for another year versus Jerry Stackhouse not being brought back. We can talk about that as well moving forward. It's the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off Show coming to you from Las Vegas here at T-Mobile Arena. Along with Kelvin Ifan and J.W. Madden, I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
That's been the Pac-12 Scoreboard, brought to you by Mesquite Valley Growers. Mesquite Valley Growers. Real growers, real experience, real nursery. This hour of the Meridian Wealth Management pregame show is brought to you by Blue Whale Car Wash, Caruso's Italian Restaurant, Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing, The Diamond Store, Goldberg and Osborne, Goodfellas AC, Humane Society of Southern Arizona, Lexus of Tucson, Nova Home Loans, Recon Auto Detail, Ride Now Power Sports Tucson, Tucson Police Department.
Okay, kids, we're home. Everybody out.
Ew, my feet are stuck.
In what, honey?
On the floor.
Ew, take off your shoes. Tommy, come carry your sister into the house.
What do you do when the car you use the most has the least amount of time to get clean? Let Recon Auto Detailing, Arizona's premier auto detailing company, come to you and turn your busiest car back into your best. From basic cleaning to a full detail, Recon Auto Detailing. Online at recondetail.com.
Frog and Firkin, a standout among the bars and restaurants in the University area. Frog and Firkin does what very few pubs can, combine a festive atmosphere and great beer with a menu that could stand on its own in any restaurant setting. A sports enthusiast dream with over 30 TVs, 30 beers on tap, and over 100 import and domestic bottles. Daily drink and food specials, and the kitchen is serving until 10. A standout in the University area. Frog and Firkin. Eat local, support local. frogandfirkin.com.
It's a party 100 years in the making, and all of Tucson is invited. Saturday, March 23rd, starting at 11 a.m., we'll kick off our 100-year anniversary party at O'Reilly Chevrolet. Along with the Chevy Classic Car Show, there'll be food trucks, balloon twisters, a caricature artist, and much more. Our cake cutting ceremony will start at 5 p.m., and our prize cutting, well, that's been going on for more than a century. So put it in your cell phone for the 23rd and see us on Broadway next to Park Place Mall, or go to O'Reilly.com for more details. O'Reilly Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Get the backyard you've always wanted with a custom pool from First Choice Pools. A backyard oasis built around you. First Choice is a full-service builder of beautiful in-ground pools and backyard designs for years of staycations. If you're ready to dive in, then visit TucsonPoolBuilder.com. Schedule now and get 3 months of full service free. First Choice Pools for installs, renovation, remodeling, and repair. Get started today at TucsonPoolBuilders.com. First Choice Pools, the first and only choice.
Coach Tommy Lloyd here. When I need a winning strategy for my team, nothing beats knowledge and skill. That's why I recommend Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing for all your home service needs. Having personally witnessed the impact of hard work and dedication, Right Way brings the same commitment to your home's comfort. Whether it's HVAC, plumbing, or electrical, their team always delivers excellence. With a legacy of quality service since 1959, you know you're in good hands. So give your home the best. Choose Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
Call or text 520-640-CATS or visit rightwayac.com.
The Window Depot has everything you need to create the kitchen or bathroom of your dreams. Browse the aisles of in-stock cabinets available in a variety of sizes and configurations and instantly elevate your space today. Visit a showroom and let our experts guide you. Whether you're choosing from ready-to-go designs or creating a custom masterpiece, we can help you select the perfect wood type, color, and style, and top it off with unique hardware to complete your look. Find a location near you at thewindowdepot.com. The Window Depot, more than a window store.
At Nova Home Loans, we believe everyone deserves the opportunity to enjoy the independence that comes with home ownership. Whether you're a first-time home buyer who needs down payment assistance, have less than perfect credit, or looking to refinance, Nova has a variety of home loan programs for your unique situation. Visit novahomeloans.com or call 800-955-9125 to learn more. Not a commitment to lend or extend credit. Rates and available loan programs are subject to change without notice. NMLS 3087, BK 0902429, Equal Housing Opportunity.
Does it feel like the price of everything is going up, up, up? We can't control the price of gas or groceries, but at Royal Buick GMC, we never add market adjustments, even while other dealers add fees because inventory is limited. At Royal Buick GMC, you can rest assured you won't pay market adjustments, and we stand by our transparent online pricing. Royal Buick GMC, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $529 doc fee. Royal Buick GMC, in the Auto Mall and at RoyalTucson.com.
The Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off Show continues on the home of Arizona men's basketball, Wildcats Radio 1290.
Tried to dump it inside, knocked away by Lewis. Ball is loose, grabbed by Larson. Wildcats with a steal, 17th USC turnover. Lead pass down to Caleb Love, who slams it home on the alley-oop.
Spectacular. Pella Larson to Caleb Love from half court.
That is something the Arizona Wildcats have been doing very, very well this season. That's converting that alley-oop, or really converting that mid-court to half-court transition pass to get baskets at the offensive end. And you'll hear Caleb Love talk about that coming up a little bit later. But that was one heck of a play by Pella Larson to put that ball on the mark from half-court for the dunk. Guys, I'm still amazed at that play, that he was able to put that where he needed to put that for Caleb Love to make the dunk on that play from half court.
KYP, Kelvin.
Know your personnel.
I mean, if that's we talked about this last night in the postgame. If that's key shot, you put up there by the box. But yeah, he put it right there, right at the rim. Caleb, they forgot. You don't forget about Caleb. I mean, if you're planning some kind of scout for the Arizona Wildcats in a situation, don't forget about Caleb Love, because that was a slow developing play. That was a slow break.
But how important it is to have a guy like Pella, who is a point guard at Utah, that head up, that can make that pass, that believe in that pass. Early in the year, you see Boswell make a couple passes like that. And what it really boils down to is your guys running the court.
Yeah.
And rewarding them for running the court. And by doing that, I tell guys all the time, I say, if you want to keep pressure off of you from full court pressure, throw that ball up to your bigs running the court or to your guards running the court. The coach is going to be yelling at his team, get back. So there won't be no pressure on the ball. But if you're a point guard who thinks, I just want to dribble up and be all fancy with the ball, then the coach is going to press you and try to trap you and try to put you in situations. But if you make that pass 2 or 3 times a game, you don't ever have to worry about getting pressure full court.
And real quick, DK, like anybody who scouted Arizona the last couple of years, what have you seen? You've seen Zoo sprint to the rim, run, get a guard mismatched on him, seal that guy, and get an easy bucket. I mean, a lot of the fast breaks the last few years have been from bigs rim running. So what do? You make sure that you got a big guy, power forward, maybe even your center if he's got some legs, to sprint back there. And that's how guys like Kelvin, might get lost in the shuffle, because you got a guard switching off or whatever, trying to make sure that big doesn't seal and get an easy bucket down there. That's what Tommy Lloyd teams do. So you got all those threats. Put pressure on the rim before the defense gets set, and good things happen.
520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program if you'd like to talk to us about Arizona basketball or just college basketball in general. Guys, I want to go back to what we heard from Jerry Stackhouse in that segment before and get Kelvin's thoughts just on this whole NBA player to college coach transition. We've seen in instances where it's working. I mean, obviously we mentioned Mark Mattson, a guy that had an NBA profile, came in, coached at some lower levels, had success, and now has, had some success at California. It still remains to be seen if he can take that to a higher level of success and get them back to the NCAA tournament. We've seen it not work so well. I mean, Chris Mullin was one heck of a college player, NBA guy, NBA player. Went back to his alma mater. He couldn't win there. Patrick Ewing went back to his alma mater, Georgetown. He couldn't win there. The Juwan Howard thing is starting to fall apart at Michigan after they had some early success there. Kelvin, just what are your thoughts on this transition we're seeing? Athletic directors taking chances on NBA guys. We obviously saw it this past year on the college football level. Although Deion Sanders came in, had some success at a lower level. It was not a large window of success before he was given control of a major Division I program. Remains to be seen if Dion can win at a high level at Colorado. But just maybe what are your thoughts on some of the successes we've seen with these types of transitions, some of the failures we've seen with these transitions?
First of all, I like to give hats off to the ADs for giving those guys opportunities, because first of all, you got to remember, if you play 12 to 15 years in the NBA, you don't really have a lot of opportunities where you was coaching before that because you was actually playing the game. And I think you learn a lot from playing. I think you learn a lot from all the scouting and all the different things that you have to do to prepare as a player, especially at that level, to be a professional. But with that being said, there's a lot of guys that kind of got in like Jed Fish, guys that were managers, guys that were video guys that have and I'm not trying to, I'm comparing, that have failed, had came in and done well, and also that came in and failed. So I just think it's just one of those things to where sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. That's just what it is. I don't really think it's because of their former athletes or if they former managers, right? Because we got a couple the second guy on our bench right now at the U of A,
Jack Murphy.
Murphy is a former manager that basically got fired for NAU.
Yeah.
To come here. So it works in all different ways. I just think that with their profile of being former NBAs, everybody looks at it a little closer, like, oh, the NBA guy. But I just truly think that I just take my hats off to the ADs for sometimes looking past some of those resumes of not having head coaching experience, because Jed Fish did pretty good here without some head coaching experience.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of factors going in here, but maybe you hire some big name recognition so you can get some recruits in. That's a part of it. Mm-hmm. What happened was your boy Garland was at Vandy. He was the highest recruit they ever had. He got injured, sat out, decided in January of that year that he was declaring.
Right.
Drew, who was the coach there, he leaves. Then Stackhouse takes over, never was able to build upon the idea of getting Garland in there. But I look actually at the NBA coaches, and there's two guys that stand out, Larry Bird and Magic Johnson. And where I'm going with this is the guys who get to be all-stars in college, get to the NBA, maybe even get to an all-NBA level, you know what they all got one thing in common? They're competitive, and they work their asses off to get there. So when you transition into a coach as a star player like that who's made all-star teams, guys, I mean, it's got to be frustrating to look around at the teammate, the team you got, and maybe see some guys slacking off, see some potential here, potential there, but this guy's not willing to get up at 3 a.m. and get some runs in or whatever it is. Those all-star, super competitive guys are always have the hardest time adjusting because they want to get out there, Kelvin, and pull those warm-ups off and show them what's up. But they're in their mid-40s, right? And they can't do that no more. So transitioning, it's really a mentality. You have to be able to put that aside. And one last thing, DK, you forgot one transition from all NBA player to college, which happens to be a buddy, Mr. Kelvin Efons.
Well, actually, I was about to go there.
Well, go there.
I was about to go there, and see, and that's the thing. I think I can really grasp what Damon Stoudemire did, because he did some of the grunt work.
Yes.
He came out of the NBA. He didn't just come right out of the NBA and into being head coach at Pacific. I mean, he started as the director of player development at Rice. Then he went back to the NBA and was an assistant coach. Then he came back to college and worked as an assistant under Josh. Then he came here and he worked as an assistant under Sean. And then eventually he got his head coaching job. And I think, again, you got to build that.
I'll say this.
There's a difference between building it and let me just go snatch a star alum out of the NBA and put him in the one seat, and he doesn't have any experience in the 2 or the 3 seat to help him in the 1 seat.
I'll just say this. I'll just say like Penny Hardaway. Penny won like 3 or 4, maybe even 5 state championships or played in that many games.
Yeah.
And
Right.
I've seen several coaches come from high school coaching into college coaching and do well. So I just feel like it just happened to be their stature of the level of NBA players they are, the reason why it's getting, really looked at. And I'll say something that Jerry Stackhouse was talking about too, about I think one of the biggest issues is as a player, when you become a head coach, sometimes you focus too much on the play on the court and you don't understand that you have to,
father figure, that stuff.
Yeah, you got to go in the community.
Right.
You got to do the stuff
be
a
the
deal
ambassador.
did. from the beginning. You have to do that side, and a lot of times you don't. You be so focused on winning and trying to have a good, and have the good players out there and guys who perform, because all your career, that's the way you were rewarded about from your performances necessarily. So I just think that's another part where the coaches have to learn how you have to get in there and understand all the right people that you have to meet.
Well, and I think it's perfect. You talk about that in comparison to what we've been discussing all year about Tommy Lloyd and his understanding of the history and how he wants his players to understand the history. And Jerry, what did he talk about? He talked about, I did not understand how, and he was talking about the streak, and for what people don't understand, maybe don't know what that was about. Vanderbilt had a long streak of games where they had made at least one 3-point shot. And then there was a game early in his tenure where that streak was broken, and he didn't think it was a big deal, but it was a big deal to the fan base. And you got to understand those types of things. You got to understand what's important to your fan base. And I think that's one of the strengths of Tommy Lloyd, is I think he's quickly grasped what means a lot to this University of Arizona.
And some context, this wasn't 200 games or 500 games. This was 1,080 games consecutively that they had made it through.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he should have thought about that just a little bit more, man. You'd be surprised the small wins.
34 consecutive years
yeah.
was that streak of making threes in every game.
Gotta understand those things for sure. All right, 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. We'll push the scouting report back to the next segment since we got a little bit off. We'll hear a little bit from Dana Altman as well as his players Jermaine Cousinard and N'Faly Dante coming up next. We'll hear from them, get their thoughts on what they need to do and what are the key elements for them being successful in this tournament where they've essentially got to win it in order to get in to the NCAA tournament. It is the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off Show. We are brought to you also by Dave & Buster's, the best place to eat, drink, and play while watching tonight's game between the Wildcats and the Oregon Ducks. If you can't be here in Las Vegas having fun, head on over to Dave & Buster's and watch the game and also have some fun with the kiddos. It is the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off Show along with Kelvin Efon and JW Madden. I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
This is the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off Show on the home of Arizona men's basketball. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Sean Furrier for Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Spring is on its way, and we all know that extreme heat comes next. Right now is the time to get your car or truck road trip ready. And with 14 convenient locations, 6 decades of service, and dozens of top shop awards, Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care is the place. This month, get back big rebates on all your favorite major brand tires. Save more on the most affordable, long-lasting tires. Check out jackfurriers.com for details and money-saving coupons. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, here to get you there.
What up, Tucson? This is Joseph Blair, former Wildcat and assistant coach of the Washington Wizards. When I came to play basketball at the U of A in the 90s, the Tucson community became and has always remained a special part of my life. And this is why I proudly joined the Meridian Wealth Management Tucson Advisory Business Council. If you have financial questions or concerns, please be sure and call my friends Natalie or Ruben Fernandez at 719-1433 or visit online at Meridian Wealth LLC. And as always, bear down, Tucson.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
Tired of dry, itchy skin? Have mineral buildup at every faucet. Ram Plumbing's affordable, green, eco-friendly water softener and alkalized purification systems are built right here in our great state of Arizona and use a fraction of the wastewater as their competitors. Want soft water, non-chlorinated, or the best alkalized drinking water? You can trust Ram Plumbing to be your one-stop shop. Ask about their Water Taste Challenge. 40th year anniversary savings, up to $500 off water systems and $40 off any service. If your plumbing's in trouble, call Ram on the double.
The universal truth of women's shoes. The cuter they are, the more they hurt. You have to put your best foot forward, and if your best foot is an ugly shoe, oh my goodness. Lise Ann thought she had to choose between looking good and feeling good, until she got fitted for arch supports at the Good Feet store.
Now I can wear the shoes that I've picked out because I like the way they look, not because they were comfortable.
Good Feet relieved her pain and her fashion dilemma. Stop by or schedule your free fitting at goodfeet.com.
Go to the Good Feet store at 4811 East Grant Road or at goodfeet.com.
Do you often worry you left the garage door open? With a LiftMaster garage door opener powered by MyQ, you'll never worry again. You can control, secure, and monitor your garage from your smartphone anytime from anywhere through the MyQ app. As an authorized LiftMaster dealer, we have smart openers designed for your needs, including belt drive motors for ultra-quiet operation, integrated camera for live video streaming, and battery backup that lets you in when the power is out.
Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates is your authorized local LiftMaster dealer. Visit KaiserDoor.com for more information.
You know it. Your neighbors know it. And let's face it, the mailman knows it too. Your yard just isn't what it used to be. But thankfully, Dorado Rock Materials can get you, well, your yard anyway, back to what it once was. And even better, Dorado Rock Materials has just what your yard needs, from decorative rock to boulders and everything in between, brought right to you. And if you need help spreading it, we can help with that too. Dorado Rock Materials. The right service, the right product, the right price.
It's a party 100 years in the making, and all of Tucson is invited. Saturday, March 23rd, starting at 11 a.m., we'll kick off our 100-year anniversary party at O'Reilly Chevrolet. Along with a Chevy Classic Car Show, there'll be food trucks, balloon twisters, a caricature artist, and much more. Our cake cutting ceremony will start at 5 p.m., and our prize cutting, well, that's been going on for more than a century. So put it in your cell phone for the 23rd and see us on Broadway next to Park Place Mall, or go to O'Reilly.com for more details. O'Reilly Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Caruso's, a Tucson tradition since 1938, located on historic 4th Avenue. For 4 generations, Caruso's handmade sauce has been prepared with love by a family member, using only the best ingredients. Enjoy specialty Italian dishes like lasagna al forno, chicken tetrazzini, real Italian sausages, spectacular pizza, as well as many vegetarian options. Caruso's offers outdoor dining on their garden patio, with indoor dining also available. Open Tuesday through Sunday, with all your favorites available for takeout. For more information, call 520-624-5765 or visit their website at carusositalian.com.
This is the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown and Tipoff Show on the home of Arizona men's basketball. Wildcats Radio 1290.
And welcome back here to T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. Getting you set for the Wildcats and the Oregon Ducks. If you remember, if you're with us in our last segment, you heard a fabulous play between Pelle Larsson and Caleb Love, in which it was Larsson who threw a half-court pass to Caleb Love for
You want to hear it again?
Let's hear it again.
Tried to dump it inside, knocked away by Lewis. Ball is loose, grabbed by Larsson. Wildcats with a steal. 17th USC turnover. Lead pass down to Caleb Love, who slams it home on the alley-oop.
Spectacular. Pelle Larsson to Caleb Love from half court.
And I asked Caleb Love about that play after the game.
It's just our chemistry. Our chemistry is on another level. We know where to find people, and we know where people like their their shots, and I think our just chemistry level on the court is just through the roof.
Indeed. I mean, again, it goes back to what Kelvin was saying in that last segment, and you guys were both saying, know your personnel, and they are starting to definitely know each other very well in order to be able to make plays like that. In a basketball game, especially from a half court away.
I think it's read and react is that, at this level, like you got your, Kelvin, you got your 12, 15 years of basketball knowledge, and everything you've tried to do that failed, you've worked on that. Maybe you've had some successes. But when you're playing on a team, especially in a game like that yesterday where the opponents are desperate and they're going to do everything it takes, a pass like that to me is two guys who've been there, done that, obviously seniors, who know exactly where the guy should be, Kelvin. Like you see a little opening in space. Mm-hmm. At that moment, Pelle's looking up, and he's got his eyes up the whole time. Actually, as you said, former point guard, he knows that Caleb should find a way behind the defense because he's the one who can see the whole court. Exactly. He can see the defense isn't looking to where Caleb's going.
Yeah, they're looking at the ball. The defense is looking at the ball, and he see it, and he makes the right play. And also the thing about that as a player is that I know if I make that pass, guess what? When I'm running down there and I'm open, I know he's going to make the same pass to me. So it's learning each other. It's showing that love for each other. And it's also, building that, hey, sometimes you, sometimes me, all the times we.
Always, yeah.
There you go. All right. let's find out a little bit more about this Oregon Ducks team and see if what they plan to do to try to beat the Wildcats today.
Our 1290 scouting report is brought to you by Ram Plumbing. When your plumbing is in trouble, call Ram on the double.
All right, we know Arizona is good in transition. Do the Ducks and Dana Altman try to plan to run with U of A, or as the Wildcats like to say, are you going to try to run with us?
Well, their half-court defense is really good. I don't like comment on other teams, but if you take Arizona's defense this year compared to last year, I think it's a lot better. I don't know what Ken Palm says, but their activity, I think is pretty good. So if you don't push it at all and let them set their defense every time, I think they're pretty good in the half court. So I think they can play a lot of different ways. And so it's just a matter of, how the flow goes. We gave up a lot of points at both places. I think 83 at our place, and more than that at their place, So we're going to have to do a better job defensively. And I'm not sure, like I say, we can't walk it down and just let them set their defense every time. We're going to have to get some transition. But they're a little deeper than us. And, we got to be careful about just getting into, a shooting contest with them. So we're going to have to bring our A game. A lot of times you go, okay, we don't have to play our best. We're going to have to play good. We're going to have to shoot it good. We're going to have to rebound good. We're going to have to be sharp defensively. We're going to have to play really good. And they've proven that 2 times. So one at our place, one at their place. So I can't sugarcoat it. We're going to have to play really good. And the guys know that. They know they're going to have to bring it. And so it's a challenge, but it's what we got ourselves into. And so we just got to be ready for it. So, but I know these 2 guys will bring it. I got no doubts about them. And we got to have all the other guys ready to go. But I got no doubts these 2 will bring it.
Well, the 2 he's talking about were the 2 that were at the press conference with him, and Vali Dante and Jermaine Cousinard. You'll hear from them coming up a little bit here shortly. Altman, though, adding on, you guys were talking earlier about, at least J-Dub was, about the fouls in that ball game. Dante went 6 of 8 from the line, and Dana talked about his big man's ability to draw those fouls.
He's 8 for 11. He drew, 11 fouls? Am I close there? 10, 11 fouls. And, they've been physical with him all year, and he just keeps fighting it. And, they doubled him, tripled him that last possession there. And he probably didn't make a good read there, but he made some good reads on double teams. We got Jackson for a little layup. I can't remember who else. We had a couple good cuts there where we got a couple easy layups off of double teams. So, again, he's first team all conference for a reason. He is a phenomenal player. I've talked about him because I believe in him. He fights through adversity. He's our leader. These 2 guys, they want to win. They're both seniors. They want to win so bad. And I thought like I said, we were a little tight to come out. And I think that was just freshmen being freshmen, but these 2 guys wanting to win so bad, that we just came out a little on edge. So we're going to have to come out a lot better against Arizona tomorrow.
Going off from that, how do you think the momentum from Dante's efficient offensive performance will help the team going into the game against Arizona?
Well, they're good inside and they're big. With Ballo and Johnson, they're and Dante's going to have to play well, but he always has. You look at his game in, game out, he ain't had many duds. All right, so he'll be there to play, and the rest of the guys got to step up. And I'm not talking about just offensively. I'm talking about on the boards. I'm talking about defensively. We just got to have some of our other guys step up, be a little better. KJ's got to finish that dunk. You got to get a couple more rebounds. Okay, Jackson, got to be strong with the ball and talk a little more defensively. Brennan's got to go get boards. So I mean, it's on all of us. Carey, Bam. We're riding these two guys. This is team sport. Everybody's got to produce. You can't look at Dante and go get every rebound and throw the ball inside and everybody watch him and see if he scores. And we've done too much of that. And again, that's my fault because I just want to do it. I mean, those guys want to be more aggressive. I haven't demanded it. I'm too nice of a guy. So, isn't that right? Yeah,
yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
My son could play for him, man. I like that guy.
Jackson Shellstad has been a guy that's kind of given them a spark. Reigning freshman of the week in the Pac-12. Last week had a huge weekend in their games against Colorado and Utah, scoring 18 points and then dishing out 14 assists, had 23 in their win. Hit 10 of 15 from the field in a victory over Colorado, or in a game against Colorado. I believe they lost that game, though. And had 6 assists as well. So he's definitely one. I think he played pretty well in that game in Tucson as well, did Jackson Shellstad. So definitely somebody to watch out for. It is your scouting report brought to you by Ram Plumbing. When your plumbing is in trouble, call Ram on the double. You heard the coach talk about his big man and Folly Dante. And Dante spoke after the ball game about how he's been dealing with double teams.
Man, it's the team sport, so I just gotta find someone open to get. If it's two people go me, someone gonna be open. So it was just that, and I just hit him. We be working this like all year long, so it's not something new for us. As long as we all cut or move for each other, it great look for us.
Well, guys, you were talking earlier, Kelvin, about how obviously Altman had kind of given the plan that you believe that they're going to double down on Ballo. Do you think the part of Wildcats' plan should be to double down on Dante?
Well, I think first you want to try to play him head up, and I'm sure that they're going to try to play Ballo head up as first because you don't want to double too much, but you don't want them to have a good game. And I think you may see Keyshawn coming with the double, coming off of KJ Evans a little bit, trying to see if we can get a double and force the hand out of the big man's hand because when he get it down that low post, man, he's tough to deal with.
And again, Jermaine Cousinard, who scored 39 points last time these two teams played. He's been dealing though with a bit of a shoulder injury. Let's get an update on that from him.
Jermaine, your shoulder seemed to really be bothering you at some points today. I mean, I think the official even called a timeout on your behalf at one point. How's it feeling right now, and any concern with it going forward?
I'm good. I'm ready for tomorrow.
Jermaine, was there anything Dana said specifically about just getting the ball inside during the halftime in the locker room?
Yeah, man. Even on the court when I pulled up, it just knowing the game of basketball. Like, if you just go back on the games that we just had last 2 games, he's been great in the paint. And just, like you said, he's been playing well this whole season since he came back. So it's just on us to establish scoring the ball in the paint first, and then that'll open up for us outside.
He wouldn't tell you, Kelvin. I mean, you're going up against Arizona tomorrow. I'm not about to tell them what's wrong with my body.
No, but he is dealing with a little bit. I haven't really heard where he hurt the shoulder, but it is something that he's been dealing with. Played well though without it. I mean, well, at least with it, I should say. You need your shoulders to play. 10.7 rebounds and 6 assists in the win last night over the UCLA Bruins. So we'll see what Infali Dante and Jermaine Cousinard have tonight for the Wildcats. I mean, again, that was about as low profile a 39-point performance, I think, just because the dominance that we saw from the Wildcats in that game. I mentioned afterward, I didn't even realize. I knew he was scoring some points, but I didn't realize until after the game was over, and I looked at the stat sheet that he had gotten to 39 in that ball game. But definitely Jermaine Cousinard capable of those types of performances, but with an injured shoulder, might be a little bit limited in what he's able to do at the offensive end
Kelvin,
today.
You think if Arizona didn't have a 21-point halftime lead, Couisnard scored 33, I believe, of his 35 after the halftime.
Right.
Like something like that. I mean, he scored a crazy number of points there. And I'm not saying any of that was garbage time. That was always starters on the court.
Right.
I'm just saying, tip your cap. The freshman got it done there, Mikhail. And the reason I think, DK, you might not have known how many points he had scored is just because of the simple fact that it was a 20-point margin the whole time. Mm-hmm. It didn't make a difference in the outcome.
Not at all. Not at all. All right, that's your scouting report on the Oregon Ducks.
That's today's 1290 Scouting Report, brought to you by Ram Plumbing. When your plumbing is in trouble, call Ram on the double.
520-848-1290 is the number for you to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us that number. It is the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off Show. We are also brought to you by Picture Rocks Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. It's our Pac-12 road trip here to Las Vegas. The final few days. We got here a week ago this past Tuesday. So what are we going on, I think 10, 11 days now here in Sin City. And we'll be back in Tucson for you on Sunday. In fact, we'll tell you what we've got coming up for you on Sunday. It's going to be kind of a fun day with the selection show. And we are planning some coverage around that. But thanks to our folks over at Picture Rocks Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing for sponsoring our Pac-12 road trip. Your family deserves to breathe clean and healthy air. Call Picture Rocks Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing at 520-440-4069. In fact, we will hear from the owner of Picture Rocks Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Coming up in the next hour, Ron Arenas will join us, and we'll get his thoughts on the Arizona basketball team, their victory over USC on Thursday, and tonight's game against the Oregon Ducks. Again, it was 2 meetings during the regular season between these clubs, and the Wildcats won both of those meetings. They took the contest up in Eugene. It was a game in which snapped a long home winning streak for the Ducks, as the Wildcats won that one 87-78. And then just a few weeks later, actually just a few weeks ago, 13 days ago, actually, in the season finale, Senior Day at McHale Center, the Wildcats won it 103-83, a 20-point victory on Senior Day for Arizona. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off Show. Kelvin Ifan and J.W. Madden are in Tucson. I'm in Las Vegas at the T-Mobile Arena, getting you set for Arizona and Oregon. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
This hour of the Meridian Wealth Management pregame show is brought to you by Blue Whale Car Wash, Caruso's Italian Restaurant, Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing, The Diamond Store, Goldberg and Osborne, Goodfellas AC, Humane Society of Southern Arizona, Lexus of Tucson, Nova Home Loans, Recon Auto Detail, Ride Now Power Sports Tucson, Tucson Police Department.
Does it feel like the price of everything is going up, up, up? We can't control the price of gas or groceries, but at Royal Buick GMC, we never add market adjustments, even while other dealers add fees because inventory is limited. At Royal Buick GMC, you can rest assured you won't pay market adjustments, and we stand by our transparent online pricing. Royal Buick GMC, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer-installed options, and $529 doc fee. Royal Buick GMC, in the Auto Mall and at RoyalTucson.com.
Get the backyard you've always wanted with a custom pool from First Choice Pools. A backyard oasis built around you. First Choice is a full-service builder of beautiful in-ground pools and backyard designs for years of staycations. If you're ready to dive in, then visit TucsonPoolBuilder.com. Schedule now and get 3 months of full service free. First Choice Pools for installs, renovation, remodeling, and repair. Get started today at TucsonPoolBuilders.com. First Choice Pools, the first and only choice.
Okay, kids, we're home. Everybody out.
Ew, my feet are stuck.
In what, honey?
On the floor.
Ew, take off your shoes. Tommy, come carry your sister into the house.
What do you do when the car you use the most has the least amount of time to get clean? Let Recon Auto Detailing, Arizona's premier auto detailing company, come to you and turn your busiest car back into your best. From basic cleaning to a full detail, Recon Auto Detailing. Online at recondetail.com.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rock & K, nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills. Enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. Explore natural open space, a network of connecting trails, and a community park within the Vail School District. Visit Lennar's 2 communities in Rock & K with home savings up to $35,000 and limited time interest rate and closing cost incentives on select move-in ready homes. LiveRockandK.com. Designed by Nature, proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
Here's an important message from University Termite and Pest Control. The weather is cooler here, and so pests are seeking alternative housing. Do you need a professional? University Termite and Pest Control has been serving Tucson since 1974. You can be assured University Termite and Pest Control will keep you pest-free using the most responsible products and application methods. 28 school districts, 3 hospitals, 2 colleges, 1 university, and thousands of homeowners trust University Termite and Pest Control for the past 50 years. You can too. University Termite and Pest Control. Find us online at bepestfree.com.
Don't hold back. Just dive right in. This is Desert Diamond. The round-the-clock, off-the-charts, over-the-top spectacle that puts a shine on any day, anytime. The tables are hot to the touch. The slots are spinning winners every day. And the point spreads are yours for the taking. So go ahead. Live the diamond life. Desert Diamond Casino. Visit ddcaz.com.
An enterprise of the Thana Autumn Nation.
Striving to be the best never grows old, and that's especially true right now during O'Reilly Chevrolet's 100th anniversary celebration. Great customer service is what we've hung our cowboy hat on for more than a century. Even today, we have a new inventory arriving with factory incentives available, and there are great deals to be had. Check them out at O'Reilly.com, call 747-8000, or come to our party on the 23rd to Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Southern Arizona and O'Reilly Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
O'Reilly Chevrolet. My heat and air work in a state of disrepair.
If there's a hot spot in your house, you may have leaky ductwork. The Department of Energy says 95% of homes do. Those leaks can pull in dirt and humidity. I'm Ron Arenas, the owner of Picture Rocks Cooling. Ask how we can tackle those leaky ducts and keep cool air in and dirt and humidity out with AeroSeal. Call Picture Rocks at 520-440-4069.
The Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off Show continues on the home of Arizona men's basketball, Wildcats Radio 1290. Let's take a look at the Right Way Rundown and see what's coming up on our pregame show. Brought to you by Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Do things the right way.
Who is that Arizona or that Oregon Duck that is going to get underneath the Wildcats' skin today? It's your Pest of the Game straight ahead. Brought to you by University Termite and Pest Control. Best bets, Arizona, 11.5-point favorite tonight against Oregon. The over-under sits at 155 on your Desert Diamond Casino Sportsbook board. View from courtside will be joined here in Las Vegas by Bruce Pascoe from the Arizona Daily Star. Keys to the game, starting lineups, all of that is still straight ahead here on the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off Show.
Who is today's Pest of the Game? The Pest of the Game is brought to you by University Termite and Pest Control. Check them out at bepestfree.com.
All right, who is going to be that Oregon Duck that gets underneath the Wildcats' skin tonight? We'll start with one Kelvin Ifan.
Man, I got to go with Kuznard. Not because of the 39 points that he had here, more so because he was 3 for 16 last night, 0 for 5. I know that shoulder is hurting, but the type of competitor and warrior he is and what's at stake, I just expect him to be a pest today.
All right, so Mr. Jermaine Cousinard is the choice for Calvin Ifan.
Yeah, I'll go with Shellstad, freshman. I said Cousinard was a freshman the other day. Obviously, he's a senior. Shellstad's the guy I was thinking of. Those are the 2 best three-point shooters for the Ducks. So you talked to me about, what you got to watch out for on that team. It's been Dante going on 3-4 years now. With Dante being so effective inside, you really worry about him getting it going, kicking it out to some guys who get hot, and that's when trouble happens. So I'll go with Jackson Shellstad today.
Yeah, that's going to be my choice, too. Jackson Shellstad, the Oregon native out of West Linn, 6 foot, 170 pounds. And, again, playing real good as of late. I mean, you look at that. We mentioned the 23-point performance in that loss they had to Colorado, but he's been double digits now in 5 straight ball games. And also really facilitating offense. He had 6 assists in that game against Colorado. And he's a guy that can also get hot from 3. And I think that we mentioned yesterday that guys that can potentially shoot and knock down shots are the kind of guys that really you get scared about in these tournament instances. So I'm going to go with Jackson Shellstad as well. So Jackson Shellstad twice, Jermaine Cousinard 1 time.
That's today's Pest of the Game. The Pest of the Game is brought to you by University Termite and Pest Control. Visit BePestFree.com.
All right, Arizona and Oregon today in the Pac-12 semifinals, joined by Ron Arenas, who is sponsoring the Pac-12 road trip here to Las Vegas. Picture Rocks Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Ron, Oregon knocked off UCLA. Disappointed that the Wildcats aren't going to get to play the Bruins today?
I think it was a better matchup for us against the Bruins. I think with Oregon, I think Dante's going to give us a pretty good run.
We were talking yesterday. We thought that since this early game is the final game on the Pac-12 network, it would have been fitting if it was UCLA and Arizona. What memories do you have, obviously, of the Bruins-Wildcats rivalry?
Well, the last couple years in the Pac-12 championship with the Bruins, I mean, those were great games. And just over the past many, many years in the Pac-12, the Bruins have always given us good games.
Of course, we're going to get the Oregon Ducks today. You mentioned N'Faly Dante. Him and Umar Bala are going to get another chance to square off. Fun watching those big guys go at each other. What do you look for when you watch 2 big centers going after each other out there on the court?
Just who's going to get position, who's going to get those rebounds, who's going to get those boards, and who's going to make a difference.
When we reflect on the win yesterday for the Arizona Wildcats, a couple of guys came off the bench, and Jaden Bradley and obviously KJ Lewis. What impressed you most just about what they added to this team?
I'm excited for both of those players next year, not just for these couple games, but next year they're really going to be powerful for this team. But yeah, they come off the bench, they provide energy, they provide shooting, and they're exactly what we needed.
You get the chance with this Arizona team to have a couple of guys in Keyshawn Johnson and Caleb Love that have played in national championship games. I mean, that's never happened. I can't imagine ever happened at this school. Doesn't get a chance to happen in most schools where you can get transfers like that. How do you think that's changed college basketball? As a fan, do you like the way that's changed, that you can get guys like that to transfer in, but you might at the same time lose guys like that to other schools?
Yeah, that's true. I'm not a huge fan of the transfer portal, but when it gives us the advantage, I guess I really like it. But yeah, you can't replace that experience of having 2 guys on 2 separate teams that went to national championship games. I mean, they're seniors, they have that poise and that experience, and it's just going to help the whole team out.
All right, where are your seats here inside the arena this week?
We're at section 13, so we're right on the corner of the court. Pretty much the same place as where we sit in McKell Center.
Now, is it mostly a U of A group there? Are you interacting with other fans? So what's the vibe been kind of like? You haven't had to get in anybody's face yet, have you?
No, most of that section is Washington State, so it's going to be a pretty exciting section on Saturday for the championship game. That's what I'm predicting that it's going to be. But yeah, we're sitting in the middle of a bunch of Washington State fans.
Is there a fan group that, I guess, in your years as an Arizona fan, and has there been, have you had any fun interactions with fans from other schools?
Yeah, it seems like over the years, the Colorado fans were always kind of, they always tried to talk trash to us, but we always won, so we had the last word.
How many arenas have you had a chance to see? Have you had a chance to go see many arenas in the Pac-12?
No, not really. I'm trying to think if I've been to any other Pac-12 arenas. I think McKell's probably the only one.
Okay, so no road environments for you. Do you think you'll travel anymore, maybe in the Big 12?
Yeah, definitely. We're going to make some plans to travel. Not only to the tournament, but we'll hit a couple road games.
Yeah, we were asking that question this week with the Big 12 announcing that they're going to keep the men's and women's basketball tournaments in Kansas City. Whether or not Wildcat fans were disappointed at all about that, does that disappoint you, or are you cool with a new city and a new experience?
I would like to have the new experience. It's not as convenient, of course. You can't hop in your car and drive 6.5 hours to get to Kansas City. It's a lot longer. So be a lot more planning, but it'll be fun. I heard that it's a cool environment there.
Ron Arenas, Picture Rocks Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, sponsoring the Pac-12 road trip. I asked you yesterday about the name. Now I got to ask you about the jingle, because it's kind of a commercial jingle that stands out with the folks that are singing that. How did that all come together? Is that your production company? Who helps you put that together?
We were doing commercials with another radio station, and they actually sent it over to Nashville and had them produce our commercial for us.
Wow, so you got actual Nashville singers in your commercial.
Yeah, we sure did. And we loved it. We told them some ideas, and they ran with it.
All right, Ron, give me one big key for this game today for Arizona.
I would say Ballo needs to have a big game against Dante.
There you go. Ron Arenas, Picture Rocks Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, sponsoring the Pac-12 road trip this week here for Wildcats Radio 1290. Ron, we'll talk to you after the game.
Very good. Talk to you after the game.
And you can find Ron and his folks over at, give them a call, 520-440-4069. That's 520-440-4069. Picture Rocks Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, the sponsor of our Pac-12 road trip. Your family deserves to breathe clean and healthy air. 520-848-1290 is the number for you to get in on the program. We are getting you set here for the Wildcats and the Oregon Ducks in the Pac-12 Conference semifinals. This will be the third meeting of the year between these two teams. The Wildcats have won the first two meetings, taking the game in Eugene and then winning on Senior Day in Tucson by 20 points. Let's find out if we can win some money on this game tonight.
Tucson, what are some of today's best bets? Will the Cats beat the spread? It's time to look at some of today's best bets. Brought to you by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet.
All right, nobody won any money yesterday. Everybody gave or took SC and the points. That did not work out. And everybody took the over. That really did not work out. So today we've got Arizona favored by 11.5 against the Oregon Ducks. I'll start with that. I'm going to lay that number. I'm going to lay Arizona at 11.5. I think these guys are found their. I hate to use the term. I have to figure out a name other than Stella. What's a good name? Stanley got his groove back. There we go. Stanley got his groove back yesterday. And I think the Wildcats' engine is ready to flow into the final. So I'm going to lay the number and take Arizona minus 11.5 today.
I'm gonna take Oregon with the points. I just think they're going to be a little desperate today.
So you've got Oregon plus the 11.5. How about you, Jay?
I think I agree with both of you. I mean, I think Arizona is playing about as good as they have, well, at least this last game. The defense looked crazy. And I got so much respect for Coach Altman. I think Arizona wins comfortably, but I think it's probably closer to 9. So I will say Arizona does not cover 11 points. That's what you said, 11?
11.5. All right.
Just under that.
Well,
They win comfortably, but not quite by 11.
We're going to have some movement today then. All right. So J-Dub and Kelvin are going to take the Ducks in the 11.5. I am going to lay that 11.5 and take Arizona. Your over-under today is 155. 155 on the over-under.
I'll go over.
You're going to go over. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the previous two games they played, 87-78 was the game at Oregon, and the game here in Tucson was 103-83. So, I mean, I know this time of year it's more defensive focused, and teams get a lot more physical, and that's going to be, a path. We saw that just yesterday with the USC game. But I think somehow these teams find a way to get a little bit more pretty out there, Kelvin, and I think they go over. That's not a very high number, so I'd say over.
Yeah, I think over as well. I think both teams going to pick it up a little bit offensively today.
All right, I took over yesterday. I generally have taken over. I'm a little concerned about this whole defensive grind thing that we're starting to see in some of these games. So I don't know that I'm comfortable. I think I'm gonna see. These things, you just bounce back and forth between these things. I am going to take the under on this. I think I'm not that it's going to be maybe the defensive type of game we saw yesterday, but I do think it's still going to be a very defensive-oriented game. So I'm going to go under. So we will definitely have movement either way, as I am on top right now by 2. So 11.5. DK lays that number and taking Arizona. Kelvin and J-Dub taking Oregon in 11.5 and the over. DK taking the under. We'll find out how it all plays out on the postgame show.
Those are today's best bets. They are brought to you by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet.
520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. Thanks again to Ron Arenas for joining us and his thoughts on what he thinks is going to happen tonight. It is the first of 2 semifinal games here this evening, and then the final will be tomorrow. If the Wildcats are in the final tomorrow, we'll have coverage. That game will start at 6 o'clock here in Las Vegas, and so our coverage tomorrow, just move everything back an hour. We started at 1 today. We'll start at 2 o'clock tomorrow with the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown and Tip-Off Show, 2 to 5, and then tip-off at 6. Tonight, we'll probably be with you around 8 o'clock, so join us for the Meridian Wealth Management postgame show from 8 until about 10, and we'll recap everything that happened in this game here today.
I'm definitely looking forward to that other game. They split this year,
yeah,
those 2 teams.
Colorado and Washington State.
Well, Colorado, as per the usual, won at home and lost on the road.
So apparently Colorado is, if I saw it correct, is favorite in that game.
I wouldn't be
and
surprised.
I'm not sure. I had a buddy of mine here ask me why Colorado would be favorite.
2.5 is what I'm seeing. Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
Well, I mean, because Colorado had a lot of injuries and a lot of, they had a very odd season. But, I mean, on paper, as far as their whole roster is concerned, I just think people, and not only that, but, I mean, Tab Oil, right? I mean, he's got that reputation. He's always been one of the top coaches. So, I mean, you can take nothing away from what the Cougars have done this season. And Colorado at full strength, guys, I mean, they got the veteran. We talked about it in both pre-games. They got the veteran leadership. They've also got the young guys get it done. So, I don't know. What do you think, Kelvin?
Yeah, no, Colorado, KJ Simpson. Yeah,
there you go.
I was thinking yesterday. I said, I don't think I gave him enough love, but I still felt like he was 4th in the voting. He definitely played well during the season, and just having a guy like him that got the big. Again, they got all their guys back, so I kind of can see why they would put them there. But Washington State is going to be a load.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about Lampkin and De Silva, right? I mean, that's what's like 9 years experience in the front court between those 2 guys.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, they got just a ton of experience, great head coach. I think that's probably why. And KJ, he's been so efficient this year, and he gets his own. So you talk about this time of year, Kelvin, a guard who can go out there efficiently and get their own looks and knock them down. I mean, that's dangerous.
Long. Their whole team is long.
Yeah.
They have a big team, one of the biggest teams in
We
the
didn't
nation.
even mention Cody Williams. I mean, he's a top 5 NBA draft lottery pick projected. So, yeah, they got a lot of skill out there. I think, they and Oregon had a similar situation where, they just didn't – they had such a mismatched roster throughout the season. The big difference is – we didn't talk about this, but Oregon kind of did it themselves, right? Because Oregon only played 1 team outside of conference that's considered quad 1. So, you look at the teams right now, they got 11 losses on the season. They would be in, guys, right now. They would be in the tournament if they had only played 2 or 3 more games outside of conference that were, and in a down year for the conference, we talk about UCLA being young, talk about Colorado having injuries. There weren't those quad one, wins within the conference to have. So the only team they played this year is Alabama, and they lost that game.
Yeah, Eddie Lampkin had 17 points and 12 rebounds in that game last night for the Buffaloes. All right, let's get a break in here. We'll come back. We'll take our view from courtside. Bruce Pascoe from the Arizona Daily Star is going to join us. It's the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off Show. getting you set for the Wildcats and the Oregon Ducks tonight here in the Pac-12 Conference semifinals. With Kelvin Ifan and JW Madden, I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
This hour of the Meridian Wealth Management pregame show is brought to you by Broadway in Tucson, Dave & Buster's Tucson, Dorado Rock, First Choice Pools, The Good Feet Store, Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, O'Reilly Chevrolet, Ram Plumbing, Restaurant Supply Store, Right Way Heating, Cooling and Plumbing, Rocking KA Master Plan Community Design by Nature, University Termite and Pest Control.
Hi, this is Mike Hanley, former president of Bank of Tucson, and I'm thrilled to announce that I have joined the Advisory Business Council of Meridian Wealth Management and Natalie Fernandez-Lee, Meridian's partner and advisor, who I am a great fan of. She has worked with many individuals and businesses in the community for decades. We live in crazy times these days and need the right financial advice, which is so important. If you'd like to talk to Natalie, give her a call at 719-1433 and have a great day.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
Striving to be the best never grows old, and that's especially true right now during O'Reilly Chevrolet's 100th anniversary celebration. Great customer service is what we've hung our cowboy hat on for more than a century. Even today, we have a new inventory arriving with factory incentives available, and there are great deals to be had. Check them out at O'Reilly.com, call 747-8000, or come to our party on the 23rd to Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Southern Arizona and O'Reilly Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Old Pueblo Harley-Davidson wants your bike. Call us or visit our website to schedule an appointment or stop by today to receive an inspection and an offer. Whether you're looking to trade in and trade up or just looking for some extra money, we're prepared to make you a tempting offer. Don't deal with the hassle of selling it to a stranger. We're here to make the process quick and easy. Only at Pueblo Harley-Davidson or online at PuebloHarley.com. Again, stop into Old Pueblo Harley-Davidson or online at OldPuebloHarley.com. Some restrictions may apply. See dealer for details.
Boswell's been up and down, and if he's down, a lot of times Bradley has come in like that, and then you had KJ Lewis, who just, really, we've seen it before, but in a sense, it kind of came out of nowhere, just him really elevating like that when you didn't expect it, maybe a little bit.
All right, you got the Oregon Ducks tonight. I said I was disappointed. I wanted it to be UCLA because I wanted just one more. I mean, this is the first game of the night. It's the official final game on the Pac-12 network. It would have been nice for it to be Arizona and UCLA one more time here at the Pac-12 tournament. Unfortunately, we're not getting that. I don't know if you've talked to any fans today at all. Do you get a sense of how the fan base is feeling about whether it being Oregon versus UCLA?
No, I haven't, but I tell you what, it's raining pretty good out there right now. I just walked up to Toshiba Plaza or whatever, and there's nobody out there. A couple guys huddled up in their U of A jackets, but no, I don't know, but I mean, I suspect that, it's a bummer. I mean, the one thing you can say is it's not a vintage UCLA team. They're going through a lot this year, a lot of young guys, so it'd be lacking a little bit in that aspect, unlike the last couple of years when they played them here, and those are really, really interesting, fun games to watch. So, a little bit of a bummer, but I mean, I think you could say that about pretty much anything Pac-12 related these days. It's just a lot of tough vibes going through what's going on.
What's your sense of this Arizona club now as we get into the postseason? What you've liked about what you've seen? What concerns you may have? I mean, obviously, they lost the game at USC, and you always kind of find little things that, well, maybe this thing or that thing. One of the conversations that I think that came out of that game was whether or not this team had kind of been built up by a relatively weak conference this year. Are they as good as we think they are? I mean, they were winning a lot of games by double digits, 15-plus point games, but they were doing that against a conference that really is not that good.
Yeah, I mean, Arizona's got it's a puzzling team in the sense that if you look at their resume, and they have some really good wins that are holding up, and then they did pretty well in the conference, but some really tough losses, losing at Oregon State and just getting hammered at Stanford. And those don't help them, and those give you a little pause. I think probably the thing, if talking about specifics that stand out, or going back to Stanford and Oregon State, they both had bigs that stretched out and hit threes, and Arizona really had trouble with that. I don't think Umar Ballo is really good around the rim, but it's hard for him to switch and handle guys like that. Not everybody team has that, but that's a danger zone. And then there's been a couple of times where their defense, more than a couple of times, their defense has just left them. And and even though it's been pretty good overall, I think Tommy Lloyd got a little bit almost defensive about the defense last night.
That's the second time he's gotten defensive this season.
Hey, I think he's a little offended because everybody talks about what a great free-flowing offense he has, and he says, "Hey, we're good defense." And I think that's, there's a lot of truth in that, but I think he also wants his players to believe that, and they made that point. I think he wants them to take pride in being defense, not as much, as much as the fun ball sharing team they are offensively. He wants them to be, kind of dogs on defense, and that's part of it. And then, I think, and this has been the case for many years, and with many teams that, a slower tempo team, that can manage to hang with them rebounding wise and so forth can cause them problems tempo wise and get them in a game maybe they're not really that comfortable with, and that's happened a couple of times too. But clearly they handled it. After initially struggling against that kind of play last night against USC, they figured it out and got it going. Made some things happen defensively.
Bruce Pascoe joining us. It is your View from Courtside, brought to you by Kaiser Garage Door and Gates. Kaiser celebrating 25 years of serving Arizona. Bruce, we're getting set to go into the Big 12 Conference. Another thing we were talking about this week, obviously the conference came out and said that they're keeping their conference tournaments, both their men's and their women's basketball tournaments, in Kansas City. I thought one of the funny comments we got from a fan was that, well, yeah, they're not going to make it easy for us just to come in there and all of a sudden take over like we've seen Arizona fans take over this building every year.
Absolutely not. I mean, I'm sure there's some awareness of that, and I think if you look at Kansas City and the map, I think there's 5, maybe 6 Big 12 schools that are within a half day's drive, so they have that going for them. There's tradition there. think, Las Vegas has a ton to offer, and obviously it's done well, and it could do well for literally any conference in the country. But that said, with that tradition, we'll see if that contract gets broken down the road if something crazy happens or whatever. But yeah, you're right. Arizona, Utah, Colorado, ASU, they're the new kids on the block, and that's they're not going to give them any advantages. Absolutely. I mean, I think it would be pretty easy to get any Pac-12 coach to tell you that this is basically McHale North, as they call it.
Mm-hmm. You obviously took the trip with the team overseas this past summer. Did you get a sense during that trip that maybe there was a bonding happening that was going to be extremely beneficial to what we've seen transpire with them being able to win the regular season title?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that those kind of trips are they're easy to have that happen, and there's no pressure on you. You're having a good time and seeing stuff. I think most teams would kind of bond, but I think, I could a little bit, and I think, it was interesting because I got to be a little closer to them than I can during the season, where I could talk to guys every day and sometimes ride the bus with them in some cases. And, I think the thing that struck me the most is just that the personalities, especially the veterans that they got in, Caleb Love and Keyshawn Johnson. I mean, like anybody, I was wondering back in May, June, July, like, how are these guys going to fit in, and what kind of personalities are they? Are they going to really, are they going to be leaders, or are they going to they're going to have their own agendas? And I kind of saw on that trip that they seemed to have the mentality that they really wanted to be there, and they wanted to work with these guys. And it was interesting. I think Johnson has said that it was really eye-opening for him, just because he had never really played with that many international players. So you had not only the team coming together, but guys from all over the world coming to one of the centers of civilization, so to speak. And it was a moment. I think it's carried them. Yeah, definitely. I think it's made a difference.
Bruce Pascoe joining us. He is from the Arizona Daily Star, longtime beat writer for the Arizona Wildcats men's basketball program. It's your view from courtside, brought to you by Kaiser Garage Door and Gates. Kaiser celebrating 25 years of serving Arizona. All right, Bruce, you've been around college basketball. You're an analytics guy. How important, this is another conversation we've been having, how important is it to be a 1 seed? Because I made a statement on Saturday that I didn't think last Saturday's game was that big a deal, because the Wildcats had already wrapped up the Pac-12 conference. They'd already wrapped up the top seed in this tournament, and everybody was yelling, but we got to be the number 1 seed in the NCAA tournament. We got to win. We got to beat USC, because we got to hold on to the Tennessee had lost that day, and we got to solidify being the number 1 seed. Okay, as an analytics guy, how important is that? How much does it matter?
It's weird. It's you could argue that it doesn't matter at all, because say if Tennessee or North Carolina or Tennessee is going to be the one over them, they're going to play them in the Elite Eight anyway, and that is true. But I think there's I just think there's so much with the NCAA tournament, one and done deal. There's so many. You got to get lucky. You got to have good matchups. You got to hopefully you don't have to travel too much. All these little things, and so I think you need every little advantage you can get, and I think it makes a little bit of a difference. Especially the really biggest difference is that in that first game, pretty much you get a free pass. Not always, as Purdue has shown, and even Arizona got scared a little bit against Wright State a couple years ago when they were number 1. But generally, that game is going to be a little easier. It's a little bit of a crapshoot, but I think when you get into that 14-15 seed team, sometimes those are teams that are in small conferences that play a style you've never seen, and they get hot and there's no pressure on them. Those teams can be a little bit scarier, and that's exactly what Princeton was. And also Princeton was also that classic 15 seed that really wasn't a 15, probably underseeded, and that can happen too. I think with the 16s, it's kind of like, okay, here's the team from the SWAC, we're going to put them in here. The teams that are really at the bottom of the Division I ladder. So and then the second game, of course, from second game on, it doesn't make that much of a difference. But I think if you can get a little bit of a break in that first game, play your reserves, have a good time, get some momentum going, feel better heading in the second round, I think it kind of makes a difference.
All right, I've been bragging to the guys back in Tucson that we've got open locker room now here and for the Pac-12 tournament and the NCAA tournament. Did you get any good nuggets out of open locker room yesterday?
I did actually. Just nothing been terrific, but I think it's just nice to be able to talk to guys one-on-one and be able to follow up questions easier, and it's not a stilted environment. It's a little more natural. I think the biggest thing I got yesterday was in talking about that Bradley's play. I was asking KJ Lewis about him and the fact where he drove him for a layup, and then he made a steal. And then Pelle Larsson gave him the ball back, and Bradley went in and slammed it down.
Yeah.
And they went crazy. And I was asking Lewis about wasn't that a great moment? How did you guys feel? And he started talking about, it was a great moment. But what the players were excited about was the fact that Bradley actually dunked the ball. He said that he doesn't dunk that much. He says this guy's crazy athletic, so everybody gives him a hard time because he doesn't dunk it. And it just so happened that Bradley's standing there getting just about to leave, and he looks over and he goes, "Hey, Jaden, why don't you like to dunk?" And Bradley goes, 2 points is 2 points. Just like that. And that's Jaden Bradley for you. He's an understated guy who's super efficient, just likes to get the job done, doesn't need the fireworks or whatever. And so that's the kind of stuff maybe you get it at a podium, but generally, it's less likely. So it's really nice when you can get a chance to talk to guys like that. And I hope and I think it carries out in all of what we do, certainly what you do, and sometimes in our writing as well, that we can give people a little better feel for really what the emotions are, of these guys.
See, now that you say that, I was going back in my memory to see if I could remember many instances where Jaden had dunked this year. I don't think that there are that many. But yeah, I mean, like you said, it's like, man, he's got, when I saw him go up, I was like, man, he's high. Yeah. He's pretty high, but yeah, we haven't really seen him in that instance too much this year.
Yeah. Typically you'll see him, he'll bust inside with some authority and, going, as they say, going to get paid or whatever, and then but he'll just kind of tap it in to finish. so yesterday, but I'm guessing he just felt the moment and and all that. So.
Well, I've said I think he's the guy. I'd like to maybe see him get some more opportunity at the end of games. I've seen him make some tough shots this year. His first shot yesterday was a difficult turnaround jumper in the lane, and I've talked all year. He made the big shot at the end of the Michigan State game, and I know we've had some issues where the Wildcats have struggled at the end of some of these close games and in overtime sessions, and he's a young guy, so maybe there's a pecking order, but I would just like to see maybe him get a chance in some of these clutch situations because I think he's a clutch guy. They can make shots.
That's a good point, David. I think one thing we've seen is, and not that this is any surprise or anything, but a lot of times in late ball situations they've gone to Caleb Love, and of course they should. He's their most their biggest scorer who's used to the spotlight, comfortable, etc. But it would be nice to have them. Continue. They have other options, but obviously Bala being the a big one if they can go inside if it's only that situation, but to have another situation to count on and to give him the confidence to know he can do it, and I think he's certainly building confidence this last month or so, 6 weeks. He's shown that. So yeah, and that's another thing we're talking about the NCAA tournament. Just you want a team at one point in those 6 games, there's probably going to be a situation where you've got to get a bucket in the last 15 seconds for whatever reason, a tie, a win, or whatever. And how many ways can they do that?
Is there any? Are there any like historical facts or anything that have stood out to you, or that are maybe we don't know about that people should know about? Whether it's around Umar Balo and some of the things he's doing. Is there a good historic fact that you want to point out to folks about the season at all, or?
No. I think the thing that strikes me, I guess probably more than anything, and I don't know if, talking about Tommy Lloyd's history anyway, right. I just think that they seem to be, not banged up, basically, in good shape. I think that first team he had really good top shelf talent with Matherin and Koloko, and didn't go super deep. And then last year's team, of course, he was only playing 7 guys at this time last year. And here, Bala broke his finger. Kirk Risa separated his shoulder, or whatever he did there, and that hurt him going into Princeton. So I had 2 guys that were playing hurt, and I think the other guys were kind of worn down. And I think this team seems to be in a little better position, and then as we saw with the 2 reserves last night, they've got energy coming off the bench, and that's invaluable. So
it's part of that luck thing you were talking about earlier, and JW even mentioned that you got to be lucky at this time of the year, and injuries play a huge part in that. Huge part in that. Bruce, we appreciate you taking a few minutes to stop on by and chat with us. We'll look forward to maybe getting you back on during the NCAA tournament.
All right, Dave. Thanks for having me.
Bruce Pascoe from the Arizona Daily Star. That is your view from courtside.
We hope you enjoyed your view from courtside. It was brought to you by Kaiser Garage Door and Gates. Kaiser, celebrating 25 years serving Southern Arizona. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown and Tipoff Show on the home of Arizona men's basketball. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Get the backyard you've always wanted with a custom pool from First Choice Pools. A backyard oasis built around you. First Choice is a full-service builder of beautiful in-ground pools and backyard designs for years of staycations. If you're ready to dive in, then visit TucsonPoolBuilder.com. Schedule now and get 3 months of full service free. First Choice Pools for installs, renovation, remodeling, and repair. Get started today at TucsonPoolBuilders.com. First Choice Pools, the first and only choice.
Tired of dry, itchy skin? Have mineral buildup at every faucet. Ram Plumbing's affordable, green, eco-friendly water softener and alkalized purification systems are built right here in our great state of Arizona and use a fraction of the wastewater as their competitors. Want soft water, non-chlorinated, or the best alkalized drinking water? You can trust Ram Plumbing to be your one-stop shop. Ask about their Water Taste Challenge. 40th year anniversary savings, up to $500 off water systems and $40 off any service. If your plumbing's in trouble, call Ram on the double.
It's a party 100 years in the making, and all of Tucson is invited. Saturday, March 23rd, starting at 11 a.m., we'll kick off our 100-year anniversary party at O'Reilly Chevrolet. Along with a Chevy Classic Car Show, there'll be food trucks, balloon twisters, a caricature artist, and much more. Our cake cutting ceremony will start at 5 p.m., and our price cutting, well, that's been going on for more than a century. So put it in your cell phone for the 23rd and see us on Broadway next to Park Place Mall, or go to O'Reilly.com for more details. O'Reilly Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Don't hold back. Just dive right in. This is Desert Diamond. The round-the-clock, off-the-charts, over-the-top spectacle that puts a shine on any day, anytime. The tables are hot to the touch. The slots are spinning winners every day. And the point spreads are yours for the taking. So go ahead. Live the diamond life. Desert Diamond Casino. Visit ddcaz.com.
An enterprise of the Tohono O'odham Nation.
Here's an important message from University Termite and Pest Control. The weather is cooler here, and so pests are seeking alternative housing. Do you need a professional? University Termite and Pest Control has been serving Tucson since 1974. You can be assured University Termite and Pest Control will keep you pest-free using the most responsible products and application methods. 28 school districts, 3 hospitals, 2 colleges, 1 university, and thousands of homeowners trust University Termite and Pest Control for the past 50 years. You can too. University Termite and Pest Control. Find us online at bepestfree.com.
Spring is here and so are the allergies. I'm Janae Arenas, and if you're a mom like me, you're concerned about how clean the air is that your family is breathing. That's why we offer duct cleaning, aeroseal duct sealing, and air purification. Call us at Picture Rocks Cooling at 520-440-4069. Your family deserves to breathe clean, healthy air.
Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating and Plumbing.
Experiencing the Sonoran Desert's natural wonders comes easy at Rockin' K. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills, enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. 6 model homes are now open to tour at Del Webb at Rockin' K. Here, life is about more than just beautiful homes. It's about the experiences waiting outside your front door at this new 55-plus active adult neighborhood. LiveRockinK.com. Designed by nature, built for you. Proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
Make the right choice for your home when it comes to windows and doors. For more than 20 years, the Window Depot has provided the best price and biggest inventory on in-stock windows and doors. The Window Depot is open to the public, so whether you're a homeowner or a contractor, you can shop the enormous warehouse. Browse the shelves with over 1,000 vinyl windows, interior and patio doors, and skylights in several varieties and sizes available to go home today. Shop thewindowdepot.com or find a location near you. The Window Depot. Best price, biggest inventory.
The Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off Show continues on the home of Arizona men's basketball, Wildcats Radio 1290.
Love center circle now. They'll set up in the half court. Ellis guarding Love. Follow high screen. Steps around it. Love fires a deep three, and it's good. Caleb Love with his second Lexington Tucson charity three, and the Wildcats up by 12. USC ball, 15 seconds left in the half. They haven't scored.
Not a whole lot of points for Caleb Love in the game on Thursday. The Wildcats, though, were very balanced in beating the USC Trojans, and Caleb Love still able to make big plays like we have seen him do all year. The Pac-12 Player of the Year had 11 points, made 3 threes. So those were the big moments in the game. Knocking down 3 trays, hit a big tray at the end of the first half as the Wildcats closed that half with a 9-0 run. He had 3 of those 9 points and then hit a couple of big ones in the second half. He's got 85 3-point field goals made this season. That is tied for 7th most in Arizona single-season history for Caleb Love. Welcome back to the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off Show. Final segment of the program as we get you set for the Wildcats and the Oregon Ducks. As Bruce said, it is raining cats and dogs. I think that might mean that might be bad news for the Ducks, because that probably means that the bars inside the hotels are pretty packed right now with University of Arizona fans getting fermented, guys, for this game here tonight.
Hey, that's what Vegas is all about, right?
Getting fermented. Absolutely. Let's dive into what we think the Wildcats need to do to win this game tonight.
Wildcats fans, our keys to the game are brought to you by the Royal Automotive Group. Royal Automotive, the dealership that is different.
This is getting more increasingly hard to do just because the Wildcats are finding different ways to win basketball games. As I had mentioned in the conversation with Bruce, as well as last night, I mean, who'd have thought that Arizona, could win a game where Colin Boswell only scored 2 points, did not have a good shooting night, but they were able to find a way to win that game last night. So we'll start with Kelvin Ifan. Kelvin, what do you think they need to do against Infante Dante and company and Jermaine Cousinar and company tonight to get this team to the Pac-12 finals?
Well, it starts there with Cousinar and Dante. I think that we really need to make sure that those guys are going to get theirs, but don't let Shellistar, Tracy, and Evans, the support guys, don't let those guys get going. I don't think Cousinar and Dante can do enough by themselves to beat you, but if you let Shellistar hit 4 or 5 threes and Tracy get a few dunks, I mean, things could be a lot different there. I believe we get in transition on these guys. Last game we played them 31-12 in transition points. I think get a lot of easy buckets against these guys because they'll take some chances and give you some opportunities there. And I think it's this time of the year where you got to continue to win with the bench. I think bench points will be big in this game because Oregon's deep, as Coach said, they bench is short. They don't really play a lot of guys that are effective scoring. So I think KJ and Crevis and also Bradley need to come out and play big.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. I think the bench. The bench is going to be. That's when the Wildcats, I think, have been very effective, man. When they get that production from the bench, and you're not just relying on those 5 guys, they've been able to win big. I'd like to maybe see again. I'll continue to state. I'd like to see maybe that be a little bit more Mo Krivas in some of these instances. He just has not necessarily been involved as much at the offensive end. Maybe when he gets in there, I know Kelvin said last night you miss those first few shots and they stop going to you. Well, we get it into him, and hopefully he can make 1 or 2 of those first shots, and then he'll get some more opportunities to get touches in the game. I'd like to see more touches for Mo Krivas in that bench rotation, and also high hands in terms of defensively. Don't put Infante Dante on the line. Try to high hands. If he scores over you, he scores over you. But don't give him free throws because he's a very good free throw shooter, and those are easy buckets for him. So no easy buckets for Infante Dante in terms of putting him on the line and giving him free foul shots in this contest. And then again, I think also another thing that Kelvin said, transition. I think we've seen the Wildcats when they play well, they're able to get out, free-flowing offense, quick passes down the floor, identifying guys cutting down on the edges to get easy baskets down at the offensive end. Definitely want to see some more of that tonight to the tune of 22 plus. I'll call it 22 plus transition fast break points tonight.
Yeah, for me, I think number one, just keep doing what you're doing. I think the defensive intensity, this is a top 5 national defensive team when they have it all together and everybody's on the same page. Really, really shut down USC the other day. Keep up that defensive intensity. That's going to get you a long way this time of year. Number two, I think staying with their Oregon shooters. I think Dante is going to get his. The more concerned you are about putting 1 or 2 extra guys on Dante in the post, the more you're going to leave guys open. If they get confidence, doesn't matter who it is on that Oregon team. If a couple of shots start falling, that's a trouble. You start getting the crowd out of it, all those things. We know it's going to be partisan for Arizona. Just don't leave wide open shooters dealing with Dante too much on the post. And on the other side of the ball, I just think smart shot selection is going to be so key because Oregon's super desperate. They are not in the tournament. They need to win this game today. And so what they're going to be doing, guys, is those guys are going to be flying all over the court defensively. Kelvin made a great point, and DK as well. Very short bench, maybe one guy off the bench. But there's no tomorrow. So it doesn't matter what kind of energy you got at the end of this game. They're going to leave it all out there. It's the Arizona brand. They're going to bring that level of defensive intensity. So just, shot fakes, fake a pass. Don't get too sped up. Stay within your flow and be as calm as you possibly can in the eyes of all of that incredible defensive pressure they're going to see today. Good shot selection. That's my key to winning the game against Oregon today.
All right, those are your keys to the Wildcats knocking off the Oregon Ducks.
Wildcats fans, that's our keys to the game. Brought to you by the Royal Automotive Group. Royal Automotive, the dealership that is different.
All right, we've been talking a lot about this being the final Pac-12 conference tournament here in Las Vegas, the end of an era for Pac-12 basketball as the Wildcats will be departing this conference and heading on to a new life in the Big 12. One person who is not making a whole lot about this is the head coach of the men's basketball team at the U of A, Tommy Lloyd.
Well, it means so much to people outside of our little sphere, which is great because those people, we draw power from them and energy. But our deal is focusing internal, game by game. And we're not getting any more complicated than that. We'll let you guys, get all sentimental about last Pac-12 stuff, this and that, how many games in a row. I don't care about any of that. I just want to know who we're playing tomorrow.
And who they're playing today is Oregon, who they'll play tomorrow, either Washington State or the Colorado Buffaloes if they can win tonight. And guys, I think, we talked midway through the show today just about understanding your fan base, understanding what's important, those kind of things. And yes, this is important, this final Pac-12 tournament and getting that win, but you can't make that, if you're Tommy Lloyd and company, you can't make that your entire focus because you'll let the emotions of that probably take you over, or the emotions that the crowd desires to win this event. You can't let that take you over and get you off what the ultimate plan is.
I think, Kelvin, best teams, best players focus on the next play.
Yeah, exactly. And you can't think ahead. You have to think about what's in front of you because as soon as you look ahead, you get knocked off your high horse. So coach is telling them, don't worry about that. Take care of what's in front of you.
Indeed. Let's give you the starting lineups for your Arizona Wildcats.
The foundation of a great college basketball team begins with the starting lineup. Today's starting lineup is brought to you by Rockin' K, a master plan community designed by nature.
At one guard will be Colin Boswell, 6'2", sophomore out of Champaign, Illinois. He has 116 assists this season. That ties him for the team lead with another guard, Pelle Larsson, 6'5", senior out of Nacka, Sweden. He's got 116 assists this season. He's also shooting 42% from three is Pelle, and that is 4 percentage points better than he has shot in his career. Caleb Love at the other guard, 6'4" senior out of St. Louis, Missouri. He has made 85 three-point field goals this season. We talked a little bit about that number earlier in the show, and Caleb Love is, again, that is the seventh most in a single season in Arizona Wildcats history, those 85 three-point baskets made. Keyshawn Johnson at one forward, 6'7", fifth-year senior out of Oakland, California. He has gotten 6 rebounds per ball game this season, and that is a career high percentage-wise for Keyshawn Johnson. And then the man in the middle, Umar Balo, 7-foot redshirt senior out of Kulakado, Mali. 31 career double-doubles. He's had 17 this year, including last game out against Southern California. He had a stretch of 9 in a row that came up just one short of matching the school record. How good are the Wildcats in this tournament? 42-15 all-time at the Pac-12 tournament. J-Dub mentioned earlier in the show they've won 9 championships. Tommy Lloyd has not lost a game here. He'll be looking to go 8-0 and remain the only coach in the history of the Pac-12 conference that has never lost a game in the Pac-12 tournament. That's going to wrap up our show. For Kelvin Efon, for J.W. Madden, thanks to our guests, Bruce Pascoe, for joining us. As always, most of all, thanks to you for listening. Coming up next, it's the number 6 Arizona Wildcats and the Oregon Ducks, the Pac-12 tournament semifinals. Reggie Geary, Brian Jeffries will have the call for you. You'll hear it right here on Wildcats Radio 1290. Bear down, Arizona.
This hour of the Meridian Wealth Management pregame show is brought to you by Broadway in Tucson, Dave & Buster's Tucson, Dorado Rock, First Choice Pools, The Good Feet Store, Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, O'Reilly Chevrolet, Ram Plumbing, Restaurant Supply Store, Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, Rocking KA Master Plan Community Design by Nature, University Termite and Pest Control,